Immortal Cultivation. I run an internet cafe in another world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1. Becoming an internet cafe owner. Lost continent. The moon is bright and the stars are sparse. In the corner of Yixing City, in the silent darkness, only a store with the name Wanshi Internet Cafe still lit up with sparks. Bai Luo sat in front of the bar, bored and looking at the monitor in front of him. System. It's been more than half a month. Can you do it? You are so good that you let me open an internet cafe in the world of cultivation? Do these people know what computers and the internet are? And this mouse keyboard VR? After all, this is another world. Aren't you too shameless? In the empty internet cafe, Bai Luo kept complaining. Host, please calm down. I can't calm down. Hearing the answer of the system in his mind, Bai Luo slapped the table, his face full of resentment. Look at other people's systems. Either they lead the host to sweep the world in a slutty way, or they let the protagonist stand on the top of the world when they are born. Look at you again. It's okay that you can't practice, but apart from maintaining the internet cafe, do you have any other use? Host, please calm down. Listening to the system's reply, Bai Luo felt a toothache. Half a month ago, he was working overtime at the company, and suddenly his eyes went dark. When he opened his eyes again, he had arrived in this world of immortal cultivation, where big guys were everywhere. Just when he was confused, the system directly prompted him to activate the plugin that is essential for time travelers in his mind. But Bai Luo was so happy. In his previous life, he was familiar with online articles. He directly dreamed of punching the God King and kicking the immortal emperor. However, when the system issued a task to let him choose a location to open an internet cafe, Bai Luo's 3-minute dream was shattered. If it weren't for the system's promise to let Bai Luo ascend on the spot after the internet cafe's turnover reached 1 million, Bai Luo would have exploded on the spot. At present, the internet cafe has been open for half a month. Not a single customer has come. This also made Bai Luo gradually lose hope. He even suspected that the so-called ascension of the system was just a pie in the sky for himself. It was ridiculous that he had more than 10 years of work experience in his previous life. He was actually holding this cake and chewing it happily. Just when Bai Luo was about to close the door and go to sleep with a disappointed look on his face, the system's prompt sound suddenly rang again. The first customer is about to appear. Please go out to greet him. Huh? Really? Hearing this, Bai Luo instantly jumped up from the chair at the bar. He didn't even bother to change his slippers. He trotted directly to the door of the internet cafe. At the same time, a ragged man with a weak aura. He was holding his chest, spitting blood and running away, while constantly looking back, feeling the two auras chasing him from behind. A look of despair appeared on the man's face. Third brother, you are so cruel. Am I really going to die here today? The two auras behind him were getting closer and closer. Just when the man was about to give up, a firefly-like light in the distance came into the man's sight. The man's eyes lit up. He gritted his teeth and almost squeezed out the last bit of spiritual energy in his body. Before the people behind him caught up, he ran directly to the light. But when he arrived, he found out the so-called light was just a candle in the evening of a shop. Although he didn't know what this Wanshi internet cafe was, but since he dared to use the name of Wanshi, he was obviously not an ordinary person. He wanted to knock on the door. As a result, as soon as he arrived at the door of the shop, the last trace of spiritual energy in his body disappeared. His legs softened, and he knelt directly in front of the door of the shop. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Oh no. Now I should call you the criminal Yang Chen. The two people behind him arrived in an instant. Looking at Yang Chen kneeling at the door of the internet cafe, a trace of sarcasm flashed across their faces. Don't blame us brothers for being cruel. Who made you the crown prince? By Emperor Ming. The third prince is the absolute candidate for the crown prince. Since you are unwilling to give way, we can only get rid of you. Hehe. Yang Chen sneered at the sound, but did not answer. He was already extremely disappointed with everything in the royal family. Seeing this, the two shook their heads and said no more. One of them stepped forward and was about to end our Yang Chen's life. Read the error-free version at 69 Shuba. 6 equals 9 plus SHU_BAR released this novel for the first time. However, just after taking a step, the door of the internet cafe was suddenly opened. A man wearing sandals and a white shirt, with a look of surprise on his face, appeared in front of the three people. And the moment the man appeared, all three of them were shocked. Looking at the man, they only felt countless avenues buzzing in their ears. Countless rules of power were wandering around him. People couldn't help but worship him at a glance. Master. An absolute master. The moment Yang Chen saw the man, this thought came to his mind. He wanted to ask for help, but countless rules bound his body, making him unable to move even a finger. Not to mention asking the man for help. Bai Luo opened the door of the internet cafe. With a face full of surprise, he was ready to welcome the customer mentioned by the system. But he saw Yang Chen kneeling at the door, covered in blood. Bai Luo was shocked. I heard in my previous life that the world of cultivating immortals is extremely dangerous and people fight for resources all the time. I didn't expect it to be true. Look at this blood. His body is really strong. But why is this kid kneeling at my door? Forget it. Let me ask if he is a customer first. Thinking of this, Bai Luo smiled and bent down to look at Yang Chen. Brother, do you want to go online? The moment Bai Luo opened his mouth, Yang Chen only felt the Dao rules around him tremble. As if they were afraid, they disappeared in the blink of an eye. This also made Yang Chen look at Bai Luo with more shock. That's the Dao rules. Each one is the will of the heavenly Dao. How could he be afraid? Or because of a man? Horror. Absolute horror. Yang Chen swallowed his saliva. Hearing Bai Luo's words, a respectful look appeared on his face that he had never shown, even when he saw his father. Senior. Please save my life. Yang Chen is willing to pay all his wealth to repay the senior for saving his life. Save you? Hearing this, Bai Luo frowned slightly. He turned his head and looked at the two people trembling not far away. He smiled bitterly, although he didn't know the identities of these people. But to be able to chop Yang Chen into this, it was obviously not something that a mortal like him who was powerless could intervene. But he finally met a customer. It was a system's prompt. Bai Luo naturally would not give up. He showed a tangled expression on his face. He looked up at the other two, hesitated for a moment and said, well, I'm sorry, I don't know what grudge you have. But it's better to resolve a feud than to make one. What's the matter? Can't we sit down and talk it out together? As soon as the voice fell, the Dao rules around the two killers relaxed slightly. While enabling them to speak, they also breathed a sigh of relief. Hearing Bai Luo's words, they immediately knelt down and kowtowed to Bai Luo. I'm sorry senior. We were blind and offended your precious land. Please spare our lives. Chapter 2. Are you scared to death by high technology? Senior. Bai Luo looked at the two assassins with a confused look on his face. System, do I have cultivation? Thinking that he had more cultivation in his body, Bai Luo asked the system in his mind. The host is just a weakling now, and a gust of wind can blow down the garbage. Please don't daydream. Oh, it's night now, but please rest assured, if the host has cultivation, the system will stand upside down and eat shit. Listening to the answer in his mind, Bai Luo's face was full of black lines. Why do I feel insulted? However, after getting the affirmative answer from the system, Bai Luo was even more confused. I'm such a scumbag. Why do these people still call me senior? You recognize the wrong person, right? Bai Luo turned his head and looked at the two people and answered aloud. The two assassins raised their heads when they heard the voice, and their bodies froze when they saw Bai Luo's expression. Their faces, which were blackened by the system just now, made them feel like they were falling into an ice cave. In their opinion, they must have said something wrong, which made the terrifying master in front of them angry. The leading man was numb. Seeing Bai Luo's gloomy face, his crotch could not help but become wet. Bai Luo felt disgusted by the man's appearance. Don't pee or poop in front of my internet cafe. Really, are all the immortal cultivators so uncivilized now? If you don't want to go online, leave now. Hearing Bai Luo's words, the two killers were immediately pardoned. They kowtowed to Bai Luo again. Then they turned into two streams of light and disappeared in front of Bai Luo in the blink of an eye. Looking at the direction where the two disappeared, Bai Luo's eyes were indescribably complicated. He longed for the skills of the Immortal Cultivators, but also had some psychological trauma from the scene just now. Forget it. Maybe the skill of this person just now is incontinence? He comforted himself. Bai Luo turned his head and looked at the stunned Dao Yangchen. Let's go, sir. Please go online. Hearing this, Dao Yangchen finally came to his senses. He responded subconsciously, but found that Bai Luo had already walked into the store. Swallowing his saliva, Dao Yangchen hesitated for a moment and finally walked into the store. This senior just saved me. He shouldn't attack me. Gritting his teeth, Dao Yangchen walked into the internet cafe, as if he was going to the execution ground. Boom. As soon as he stepped in, Dao Yangchen's mind was blank. Countless Dao rhyme patterns forced their way into his mind. The incomprehensible Dao directly caused Dao Yangchen's brain to short circuit. What are you still standing at the door for? Go inside to surf the internet. Bai Luo's voice entered Dao Yangchen's ears. The originally mottled and noisy Dao rhyme instantly became extremely smooth. It gently withdrew from Dao Yangchen's mind, but it also left countless insights. Dao Yangchen's eyes lit up. Looking at Bai Luo's eyes, he couldn't stop or just the rhyme left by the Dao. He directly healed his injuries completely. Dao Yangchen was even sure that it was with these Dao rhyme residues. Breaking through the Jindan realm is almost certain. But when Dao Yangchen entered the internet cafe, he was stunned when he saw the rows of computers. Who am I? Where am I? What should I do? Although he didn't know what these computers were used for, they were full of the aura of the Chaos Avenue. It made Dao Yangchen's eyes hurt. The aura of the Chaos Avenue. Even a master of the Mahayana period might not be able to obtain a single strand in his lifetime. And on these computers, there were so many that they were about to overflow. Bai Luo had returned to the bar at this moment. He turned around and saw Dao Yangchen standing at the door. He stared blankly at the computers in the room. He laughed immediately. Let's not talk about this internet cafe for now. Can the locals understand it? At least this information cognition gap is enough to make people secretly happy. Although I can't practice now, and I'm immortal, don't you still have to ask me if you want to go online? He smiled and put away the slightly obscene thoughts in his heart. Bai Luo knocked on the table and attracted the attention of Dao Yangchen, who was in a daze. Well, sir, please come here to open a card before you go online. Dao Yangchen was so shocked that his brain was out of balance. Hearing Bai Luo's words, he nodded subconsciously. But when he arrived at the bar, he looked at Bai Luo with a confused face. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK underscore BAR apostrophe S first novel. Go online? Punch a card? What is that? I have never done it. Bai Luo was also a little confused. In the previous life, internet cafes all swiped ID cards. But this is a world of cultivation. ID card? I'm afraid I can't tell Bai Luo what an ID card looks like and let him know what an identity is on the spot. Looking at Dao Yangchen's confused face, he was afraid to let this only customer go. He communicated with the system anxiously in his heart. System, stop pretending to be dead. How do I open a card in this internet cafe? Fortunately, the system seemed to be aware of Bai Luo's mood and responded in time. The host can let customers put their fingers on the fingerprint device, and the internet cafe can automatically enter their identity information. Bai Luo heard this, and his eyes immediately fell on a small tablet on the bar. Lion picked it up and smiled professionally at Dao Yangchen. Sir, please put your finger on it and choose the machine you like to automatically start it. Bai Luo didn't know how the system worked. He just told Dao Yangchen what the system told him. What made Bai Luo feel sad was that he was an internet cafe owner. He didn't even know how to let customers use the machine. What a shame. Dao Yangchen didn't know what Bai Luo was thinking. He stretched out his finger and pressed it on the fingerprint device. Then he looked at Bai Luo and was about to ask if there were any other steps. Suddenly there was a buzzing in his mind. Gao Yangchen only felt that his consciousness seemed to be in the universe. There were unclear spherical things floating everywhere around him. They were still spinning. The rich breath of the avenue almost made him breathless. But this feeling was only fleeting. Before Yangchen could feel it carefully, he found that his consciousness had returned to the internet cafe. This. Gao Yangchen looked at his hands in shock. He was sure that he was definitely not hallucinating. He was about to feel it carefully, but he found that his body seemed to be covered by a golden light. Is this chaos golden light? There was still disbelief on his face. As if to verify it, Gao Yangchen gritted his teeth and mobilized the spiritual energy in his body. He slapped himself in the face. But he found that the golden light on his body did not even cause a ripple. It's really chaos golden light. After being covered, the chaos golden light is immortal and the true spirit is immortal. Gao Yangchen danced with joy. As if he thought of something, he looked down at the fingerprint device that Bai Luo had just picked up. It's this thing. After thinking about the reason, Gao Yangchen's eyes suddenly became more fiery. However, Bai Luo had a weird look on his face. Looking at Yangchen, he couldn't help muttering to himself. This guy, seeing the high tech, was so frightened that he went insane. Chapter 3 When the Prince Plays Resident Evil. Gao Yangchen's slap just now was a real one. Bai Luo felt it hurt, even when he was standing by and watching. But Yangchen didn't say anything. Bai Luo didn't want to meddle in other people's business. He directly introduced the rules of surfing the internet, and then sat behind the bar, and continued to be in a daze. Such behavior is very similar to Bai Luo's behavior in his previous life, when he threw away the paper after finishing. He said wipe it yourself with a calm face. A complete scumbag. But for Bai Luo, continuing to follow Yangchen's experience is a waste of time. Anyway, Yangchen has already been on the computer. After experiencing the entertainment products produced for thousands of years, Bai Luo doesn't believe that Yangchen has no desire to come again. On the contrary, although he has the first customer, but it is a long way from the turnover of 1 million. Looking at Yangchen's back, Bai Luo's eyes suddenly lit up, as if he had thought of a good idea. Yes, you can ask him to go back and help recommend it. Attract customers, won't the customer flow come? Bai Luo was a little excited and couldn't help clapping for his own extreme. But this guy needs to enjoy the ultimate experience. Then what game to choose becomes a big problem. Thinking of this, Bai Luo stood up. He came to Yangchen, who had just chosen a computer and sat down. The latter stood up in fear when he saw Bai Luo. He thought he had done something wrong. Bai Luo pushed him back to his seat with a smile on his face. Sir, don't be nervous. I came here to recommend you a game. For your first time playing, you can try the game Resident Evil. Hearing this, Yangchen nodded solemnly and indicated that he had taken note. Bai Luo then returned to the bar with satisfaction. He turned on the monitor. Here you can see the real-time operation screen of all the computers in the internet cafe. They should like this kind of mowing game the most, right? It can also let them experience the pleasure of hot weapons. Well, I'm really a genius. Bai Luo praised himself, and then looked at the screen of Yangchen playing on the monitor happily. Yangchen looked solemn at the moment. It must be a great opportunity to have the senior come here to explain in person. He was more and more certain in his heart. But when the monitor was turned on, Yangchen found that there was nothing else on the desktop except the icon of Resident Evil. Although it was a little different from what he thought in his heart. But Yangchen still clumsily clicked on the icon of Resident Evil with the mouse. At the same time, he put on the VR helmet that had been placed next to the computer. However, Bai Luo, who was sitting in front of the monitor and also saw the display on the desktop, was confused. System, come out and explain. Why is there only this one game in this computer? Bai Luo was a little frustrated. He had originally hoped to attract customers by relying on various games in the computer. But with just this one game, what can he attract? Doesn't everyone like to play Resident Evil? This internet cafe is turned on for the first time, and the first game is selected by the host. What? Bai Luo was stunned when he heard this. Why don't I know? The system was just about to explain, and the host had already selected Resident Evil. I didn't. I'm not. Don't talk nonsense. Bai Luo wanted to give 3 consecutive denials. But when he remembered what he had just said to Yang Chen, his face suddenly fell. He leaned back in his chair with a tired look on his face. Forget it, at least it was a popular game in the previous life, right? But system, there won't always be only this one game in this internet cafe, right? Reply to the host. The host needs to purchase other games to unlock them. Bai Luo got a positive answer and then nodded with satisfaction. But now there is an additional expense for purchasing games, $1 million in turnover. When will it end? Yang Chen naturally didn't know about Bai Luo's communication with the system. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. The moment he put on the VR helmet, Yang Chen found that he could not control his physical body. This immediately shocked Yang Chen. He hurriedly wanted to check, but he found that his true spirit was in a trance. Soon it floated into a body, controlling his body to open his eyes. Yang Chen raised his hands and feet to try for a long time. He found that there was no difference between his body and his own. After looking at the surrounding environment, Yang Chen was stunned at first. Then he was so excited that he couldn't control himself. Am I controlling the body of someone in another world? The black hat he wears is the medium to go to another world. As soon as the idea came out, Yang Chen himself was shocked. Another world. As a prince, Yang Chen naturally knew how great this discovery was. If his idea was true, not only his father's dynasty, the future of the entire lost continent will be rewritten. Thinking of this, Yang Chen forced himself to suppress his excitement. He had heard Bai Luo say before, the internet time here is limited. Yang Chen, must not waste time. He must get more information in the shortest time and report it back to his father. After making a decision in his heart, Yang Chen began to control the new body to move around. At the same time, the ruined city also made Yang Chen full of shock. I really don't know what happened to this world to make it so dilapidated. If my Imperial City also suffers this disaster. Thinking of the consequences, Yang Chen subconsciously shuddered. He secretly swore in his heart that he would never let this happen. However, after such a long time of exploration, Yang Chen finally found the most things in the biochemical crisis. Zombies. Looking at the zombies swaying left and right, dragging their dilapidated bodies slowly towards him, Yang Chen was greatly shocked. This is a corpse. The corpse is moving. Is this world practicing an evil spell? As a prince, Yang Chen attaches great importance to his people. When he thought of the people in this world turning his people into things that are neither human nor ghost in order to practice spells, Yang Chen couldn't help but feel angry. Damn it. These people should be killed. However, even if he was angry, facing the zombies in front of him, Yang Chen had to cheer up. Although he had no spiritual power in his body, Yang Chen still bravely rushed to the side of the zombie, raised his fist, and punched the zombie. With an expression of reluctance on his face, he murmured to himself, "Rest in peace. I will find the culprit who hurt you, and let your soul rest in peace." As soon as the voice fell, Yang Chen's fist fell on the zombie. The imagined scene of the zombie retreating after being injured did not appear. Instead, it pounced directly on Yang Chen. It opened its rotten mouth, aimed at Yang Chen's neck and bit down directly. Yang Chen, is there something wrong? Bai Luo, who was behind the bar, saw this scene. The water he had just drunk sprayed out instantly. Is this kid sick? Chapter 4, you won't not pay, right? The vitality in his body was gone in an instant. Not long after, Yang Chen died directly and was reborn in the place where he first landed. He looked at his body with a confused face. Yang Chen was still frightened. I didn't expect that this world could revive me. But why didn't I hit that corpse just now? Even if I'm just an ordinary person, it shouldn't be. Yang Chen stood there and couldn't help but fall into deep thought. After a long time, he set off again without believing in evil. He wanted to try again. This time, Yang Chen learned a lot. After negotiating with the zombie for a long time, he went forward to fight with it. The next second, he was bitten on the neck. Dead. After Aoyang Chen was resurrected again, his face was full of shame. As a prince, he couldn't even beat a corpse. The dignity of the royal family made him unable to accept this result. He ran directly to the zombie again and continued to challenge unwillingly. Bai Luo behind the bar stared at the scene on the monitor and was completely dumbfounded. Fighting zombies with bare hands? Are you so brave? Why don't you use a gun? That thing has been hanging on your waist for so long. It's almost rusted. Oh. How can you be so stupid? Bai Luo watched Aoyang Chen die again and again on the monitor, but he kept rushing towards the zombies. He leaned back on the chair with a look of despair on his face. With Aoyang Chen's performance, let alone attracting traffic to the internet cafe, he might not come again next time. On the other hand, Aoyang Chen in the game. After dying for more than 100 times, he finally found something wrong. Standing at the resurrection point, he was full of doubts about life. This corpse is wrong. Absolutely wrong. In a short period of time, he was killed more than 100 times. Even if Aoyang Chen's consciousness was strong, he couldn't stand it. He squatted down numbly, but he was hurt by the foreign body on his waist. He lowered his head in surprise. Finally found the pistol that Bai Luo had been thinking about. What is this thing? Aoyang Chen took out the pistol and observed it with a frown. He even pointed the muzzle of the gun at his eyes, trying to see what was inside, but he accidentally touched the trigger. With a gunshot, died again. Aoyang Chen, who was resurrected again, looked confused. He didn't even notice how he died just now. He took out the pistol again, but didn't dare to point it at himself again. After studying it for a long time, he finally figured out how to use the pistol. He was immediately excited. With this kind of artifact, that corpse is definitely not my opponent. Yes, Aoyang Chen no longer thinks about revenge for the zombies. He died at the hands of zombies for hundreds of times. Aoyang Chen now has only one idea in his mind. Kill that zombie. Avenge the previous shame. He excitedly came to the zombie with the pistol. Aoyang Chen clumsily pointed the pistol at the zombie, then excitedly pulled the trigger. Damn corpse. Return to where you should be. Click. The sound of the pointer hitting was heard. Aoyang Chen's excitement froze on his face. Thinking of how he had just wasted all his bullets in order to find out how to use the pistol, Aoyang Chen suddenly became expressionless. He looked at the zombies walking towards him with an indifferent face, and he didn't even have the desire to take action. Forget it, I'm used to it. Life is to live with a smile. As expected, he was resurrected again. But Aoyang Chen didn't dare to waste bullets anymore. After finding the zombies again and killing them, he finally showed the pleasure of revenge. At the same time, a mysterious feeling entered his sea of consciousness and quickly merged, causing Aoyang Chen's sea of consciousness to expand a little. Although it was only a little, it made Aoyang Chen tremble all over. As the crown prince of the Imperial City, Aoyang Chen knew the difficulty of improving his sea of consciousness very well. At the moment, just killing a corpse can enhance his sea of consciousness. Although it is only a tiny bit. But who said that there is only one zombie in this world? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. The most important thing is that Aoyang Chen wants to enter the Golden Core. The expansion of the Sea of Consciousness is an indispensable part. No wonder the senior let me into this world of biochemical crisis. So the deep meaning is here. Thinking of Bai Luo, Aoyang Chen's heart was filled with gratitude. Then he started running with excitement, looking for other zombies scattered in the city. After killing more than 10 zombies, Aoyang Chen's Sea of Consciousness has expanded by more than 1/10. This made Aoyang Chen excited and danced with joy. With such a foundation, Aoyang Chen has confidence. After returning to the Imperial City, he broke through the Golden Core in one fell swoop. And just when Aoyang Chen was about to continue killing zombies, trying to expand the Sea of Consciousness, a blood shadow suddenly flashed before his eyes. Aoyang Chen didn't even react, and he died directly back to the resurrection point. Just now, what was that? Even after resurrection, Aoyang Chen's face still had an indelible shock. Although he is not using his own body now, but the true spirit is his own. With his foundation building period cultivation, he couldn't even see what killed him. Aoyang Chen couldn't recover for a long time. After a long pause, just when Yang Chen was about to continue to go and find out what was going on, a red prompt suddenly appeared in front of him. Your game time has reached the upper limit. Yang Chen's face changed, but before he could do anything, his true spirit was floating. When he opened his eyes again, he was back to his seat in the internet cafe. The interaction between the game and reality made Yang Chen a little confused. After a long time, he shook his head, stood up and walked to the bar. When he saw Bai Luo, he immediately bowed to him with full respect on his face. Thank you for the opportunity, senior. Yang Chen, I will never forget it. Bai Luo had long been numb to Yang Chen's inexplicable respect. He waved his hand casually. No need to say these nonsense. If you really appreciate me, bring a few more friends next time and come together. Although he said so, Bai Luo had no hope. Even he couldn't stand the scene of Yang Chen being abused in the game just now, especially since he just learned the method to kill zombies. But he was killed by the liquor in a blink of an eye. No one can withstand such ups and downs. However, Yang Chen was solemn when he heard it. He spoke solemnly to Bai Luo. The junior will never forget the trust of the senior. Okay. Stop calling me senior. Bai Luo was too lazy to continue talking to Yang Chen. He glanced at the fee displayed on the system and stretched out his hand to Yang Chen. Thank you for your review. 50 yuan. 50 yuan? Yang Chen was stunned when he heard it. Seeing this scene, Bai Luo was immediately anxious. Don't think about refusing to pay. Your identity information is still recorded in me. As he said, Bai Luo raised the fingerprint device and shook it. But he had no confidence that Yang Chen could pay. Chapter 5 times have changed. Third brother. This place is different from the previous life. Although the identity was also entered. But according to the system, it was just a necessary procedure for starting up the computer. If Yang Chen was determined not to pay, Bai Luo really had no way out. System, what if he plays the overlord machine? Please rest assured, as long as you are still in the internet cafe, this situation will definitely not happen. After getting the guarantee from the system, Bai Luo was a little relieved. Then he turned his head and stared at Yang Chen. Yang Chen was a little panicked by Bai Luo's gaze. He didn't mean to not want to pay. In his heart, Bai Luo was the one who gave him the supreme opportunity. Such a great gift, no amount of money is too much. What's more, the aura of the Chaos Avenue around Bai Luo was terrifying. God knows what realm Bai Luo has reached. Not paying? Yang Chen is not bold enough to do this. However, Yang Chen really didn't understand what Bai Luo meant by yuan. 50 yuan? What do you mean by yuan, senior? The yuan money in the Imperial City? Impossible. How could a person like you like me be interested in such mundane things? But besides yuan money, is there anything else called yuan? Yang Chen's brain was working rapidly, trying to search for a transaction item that could be called yuan. But even if he searched all his memories, he couldn't find anything that matched it. Yang Chen was so anxious that he broke out in a cold sweat. He looked at Bai Luo helplessly and finally gritted his teeth and spoke. Senior, please forgive me, I really don't have the 50 yuan you mentioned. Bai Luo's face was full of as expected. Just as he was about to call the system, Yang Chen spoke again. However, I have some other treasures here. I wonder if they can be used to pay off the debt. As he said that, Yang Chen took out everything on his body except his clothes. He even didn't let go of the prince's order given to him by the Emperor Ming. Only then did he look at Bai Luo with a frown. More than these, can I use them to pay off the bill? Bai Luo looked at the things on the table, frowned and said nothing, but he was communicating with the system in his heart. System, can these things be exchanged for sales? Yes, but the host can only take the corresponding spiritual stones as network fees. What? Bai Luo's eyes widened immediately after hearing this. These things are all given to me voluntarily by him. Why can I only take the spiritual stones? Small business, honesty comes first. Fuck. Bai Luo was speechless after hearing this. He looked at the treasures on the table with reluctance. Although Yang Chen acted like a man with a bad brain, but it couldn't hide the fact that he was a cultivator. Bai Luo was very greedy for the things that the cultivator took out. However, he could only take the spiritual stones, which made Bai Luo feel extremely unbalanced. After a long psychological struggle, Bai Luo finally endured the heartache and accepted the system's request. After taking the corresponding spiritual stones according to the prompts of the system in his mind, under Rao Yangchen's nervous gaze, he turned his back and waved to him. "These are useless to me. Take them back." Gao Yangchen felt guilty when he saw that Bai Luo had only taken the spiritual stones. Senior must have looked down on these things of mine, so he took the spiritual stones to comfort me. I must not disappoint you. I must bring more people with me when I go back. Thinking of this, Bao Yangchen put the things away again with a serious look on his face. He bowed deeply to Bai Luo again, and then turned and left the internet cafe. Bai Luo was left watching his disappearing back, feeling sad. When Yangchen walked out of the internet cafe, the sky had begun to brighten. Feeling the abundant power in his body and the expansion of his sea of consciousness, Gao Yangchen clenched his fists fiercely. The spiritual power in his body circulated, and he flew directly into the Imperial City. At this moment in the Imperial City, the third prince was kneeling under Emperor Ming, with a heavy face on his face. "Father, I, Bao Yanqi, swear, I will find the murderer who killed my eldest brother. Avenge my eldest brother." Gao Yang Fuming sat in the first seat with a gloomy face. Looking at the hem of the clothes stained with Gao Yangchen's blood, he remained silent. Seeing this, the third prince's face flashed with a sinister look. "Old thing, is Gao Yangchen so important to you? He's already dead. Why haven't you issued an edict to change the crown prince? Damn it. Who else is worthy of sitting in the position of the emperor except me?" Bao Yanqi, after confessing the two killers last night. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. Gao Yanqi went directly to the palace. He took out the evidence that he had prepared long ago and cried in front of Gao Yang Fuming all night. It was to make Gao Yang Fuming issue an imperial edict to change the crown prince as soon as possible. However, after seeing this hem of the clothes, Gao Yang Fuming remained silent. For a whole night, he didn't even say a word to Gao Yanqi. This also made Gao Yanqi resent this father even more. "Why?" Exclamation mark. "Why is he, Bao Yangchen, so loved by you? He even established the position of the crown prince without hesitation?" Exclamation mark. "Just because he was born the earliest? How am I, Bao Yanqi, worse than him? How can a waste in the foundation building stage be qualified to be the emperor? I, Bao Yanqi, am the best choice for the crown prince." Looking at Gao Yang Fuming, who still had no intention of speaking, Gao Yanqi gritted his teeth and was about to say something. Suddenly there was a noise at the door. "Third brother, you acted really well. Even I, the eldest brother, was moved." The mocking voice entered Gao Yanqi's ears. The third prince turned his head suddenly and looked at Gao Yangchen, who walked into the palace step by step with an unbelievable look. "You? How could you? Shouldn't you die at the hands of the two evil spirits? How could a waste in the foundation building stage like you survive?" The moment Gao Yanqi saw Gao Yangchen, he knew that he would not survive. Killing brothers is absolutely not allowed in Gao Yang Fuming. Not to mention that he was trying to usurp the throne for a reason that could not be seen in public. Therefore, when he saw Gao Yangchen standing in front of him, Gao Yanqi's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. "I can't live. You can't live either." The spiritual power of the golden elixir in his body burst out instantly, and the whole person turned into a residual image and rushed directly towards Gao Yangchen. Seeing that Gao Yangchen did not move, Gao Yanqi's eyes flashed with a morbid pleasure. "Goodbye, my good brother. If you want to blame that old thing. If he hadn't favored you, why would I kill you? It's all the fault of that old thing." The hoarse voice made Gao Yangchen sigh in a deep voice. Facing Gao Yanqi's attack, his face remained calm. Seeing that he was about to be attacked, he raised his hand seemingly casually. The strength of the golden elixir realm also burst out from his body. He directly blocked Gao Yanqi's full strength attack. "No." Gao Yanqi's pupils suddenly shrank. A look of horror appeared on his face involuntarily. "How did you get the golden core? How could a loser like you get the golden core? Hey." Gao Yangchen raised his head. He looked at Gao Yanqi, who was full of despair, with his eyes without any emotion. "Times have changed, third brother." Chapter 6, Brothers Fight. If Ao Chen had not seen with his own eyes how powerful the internet cafe where the senior was, and his strength had been greatly improved after playing the things recommended by the senior, he would never have believed that there would be such a wonderful place in the world. Only after seeing it with his own eyes and actually experiencing the changes in his current strength did he completely believe it. In the past, his strength was more than just a gap compared to Ao King. Although he was lucky and was the first son of his father, he was canonized as a prince, but before going to the senior's territory, he was still only a pitiful foundation building period. The gap between him and Ao King, even if he worked hard, would take at least 10 years to catch up. No matter what era, killing you is enough for me. Ao King was completely bloodthirsty. Today, when his father saw Ao Chen coming back alive, his father knew that everything he said last night was a lie. How could the emperor of a country accept his son talking nonsense in front of him? This is a crime of deceiving the emperor. Since he couldn't survive, it was enough to take someone with him before he died. But Ao Chen was playing games in the internet cafe. After the special training, he was no longer the same as before. When Ao King attacked him, he waved his hand casually, and an invisible light shield appeared in the air, locking Ao King tightly inside. However, Ao King had been sitting firmly in the giant stage for several years, and his combat skills were sufficient. The moment he realized that the situation was not good, he immediately changed his attack method. He silently recited the magic formula, and his life magic weapon, a giant sword that was more than 10 feet long, was taken out from his danshan, and he slashed at the light shield fiercely. Originally, Ao Chen did not intend to kill him because of the Brotherhood and only wanted to imprison Ao King. As for how to deal with him in the future, it depends on the emperor's intention. But watching Ao King rushing around in the light shield frantically, it didn't take long for the light shield he condensed to have countless mortal cracks. He was a little angry and stopped him, saying, "Don't struggle. If you move again, I can only kill you. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Ao King's eyes were bloodshot. Ao fuming, who was sitting on the throne, had a gloomy face. In fact, when Ao King told him the news last night, he didn't intend to believe it. Even though he knew that his eldest son's cultivation was not as good as his third son, he thought that he was a lucky man, and there were several giant and stage masters protecting him, so he shouldn't be harmed inexplicably. Therefore, no matter how sincere Ao King said in front of him, he never thought of shaking the foundation of the country and changing the prince immediately. As a result, today he saw his eldest son, who he had always placed high hopes on, return from outside, and the aura around him had changed significantly. Now he has the cultivation of the giant stage, and he is very satisfied with him. Seeing the two brothers fighting, he not only didn't think of going forward to stop them, but also looked very interested. At most, he just waved his hand to call a team of guards outside to help guard and pull them apart in time when the two were in danger. Not long after, Ao King broke through the first layer of confinement. Just when his giant sword was about to chop at Ao Chen's head, less than 2 inches away from his eyeball, Ao Chen snorted coldly, and a golden light suddenly burst out from his body. Ao King's eyes blurred, and Ao Chen disappeared. Even Ao fuming on the throne didn't see how he made a strange move. Ao Chen kicked Ao King hard on the back. The giant sword in his hand hit the ground with a bang. Fortunately, the floor was made of century-old ironwood, otherwise it would probably be destroyed by his giant sword. Ao King was kicked so hard that he saw stars, and his head hit the ground hard, and there was a big cut on his forehead, and blood was dripping. Ao Chen warned him at last, "Stop it, I don't intend to kill you." Impossible. Ao King barely supported himself to stand up, and the giant sword in his hand drew a not very obvious mark on the floor. "Today, either you die or I die. There is no third result." As he said that, he rushed up again forcefully, and this move was full of the momentum of destroying the world. Ao fuming quickly supported a protective barrier to protect himself inside. Facing Ao King's desperate fighting style, Ao Chen was also very troubled. He could only seriously follow the techniques he learned when playing games in the internet cafe, but he fought seriously. Ao King's giant stage cultivation was also forcibly raised after taking a lot of drugs, and the more he used the big move, the faster the power and vitality in his body would be lost. Under Bai Luo's guidance, although Liang Chen had just been promoted to the Golden Core stage, his body was full of strength, and he himself did not know that the blood in his body was very powerful. This continuous big move did not consume much of his energy, and he could continue to deal with Liang Qi's attacks. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. After half an hour, Liang Qi finally couldn't stand it anymore, and fell heavily to the ground, gasping for breath. Liang Chen stopped and suggested to Liang Fuming, who was sitting on the throne, "Father, find an imperial doctor to see the third brother, maybe he still has a chance." Although he knew that Liang Qi was beaten by him just now, it was estimated that all the vitality in his body had been lost, and his cultivation would drop by at least one major realm, but as long as he was still alive, and didn't mess around in the future, it was not impossible to save his life. Liang Fuming also agreed, but when the imperial physician came over, Liang Chen was originally planning to help Liang Qi comb his hair, but he never thought that he had reserved one last killer move. Just when Liang Chen was very close to him, Liang Qi suddenly opened his eyes and threw out a thunder bomb. Liang Fuming on the throne was startled and quickly told Liang Chen to dodge, but it was too late. The moment the thunder bomb exploded, the entire magnificent palace shook several times, and the glazed tiles on it fell one after another. Liang Fuming's eyes were bloodshot, and he rushed forward. Unexpectedly, under such a powerful attack of the thunder bomb, Liang Chen was only slightly injured, but Liang Qi on the ground was already blown to pieces, and even the imperial physician was affected. Fortunately, the medical skills that have been cultivated to the level of the imperial physician have their own life-saving magic weapons. Although they were seriously injured, they are still alive. However, Liang Qi on the ground was not so lucky. He was already dead, and the ground was covered with blood. Liang Fuming nervously pulled Liang Chen to the side and carefully examined him, and found that his heart and other important organs were not damaged at all, but there were a few inconspicuous scars on his arms, which was very unexpected. Chapter 7, The Three Kingdoms Invasion. He asked repeatedly, "What exactly did you experience outside? How did your cultivation increase so quickly?" "Father, this is a long story. I will explain it to you later, but as for my third brother..." Liang Chen glanced at Liang Qi. Is he really hopeless this time? The other imperial doctors also came up to check under the arrangement of Liang Fuming, but they all shook their heads and sighed helplessly. "Your Majesty, the third prince can't be saved. His soul is scattered, and his body is no longer intact, and can't be put together." Liang Fuming felt a little uncomfortable, but he had many sons, and the most important eldest son was safe now, so he didn't care so much. In addition, this third son actually wanted to deceive him last night, hoping that he could make him the crown prince. Liang Fuming didn't have a good impression of such a cruel and ruthless son who dared to talk nonsense in front of him and deliberately deceive him. He waved his hand at the imperial doctors. "Take him away and say that he was possessed by the devil while practicing martial arts and died of suffocation. Do not involve the prince in this matter." The doctors nodded quickly and carefully carried Liang Qi away. Soon, palace servants came in and cleaned up the blood on the ground. However, the palace was half destroyed and could not be used in a short time. Liang Fuming could only take Liang Chen to another slightly more secluded place. Although he dealt with this unfilial son and witnessed the powerful change in his eldest son's strength, he was quite relieved. But thinking of what happened recently, he couldn't help but feel a little worried. I don't know if it was the change brought about by Wang Bei's unique aura, but now Liang Chen's perception of the outside world has become more and more acute. Seeing Liang Fuming's gloomy face, he thought for a moment and took the initiative to ask, "Father, has anything happened recently? Why do you seem a little uneasy? I wonder if I can help." "Well, even if you don't ask, I will tell you." Liang Fuming asked him to sit down next to him, and then took out a map. "Do you still remember the other 3 countries surrounding our country?" "Of course I know." Liang Chen nodded. "There are 3 quite powerful countries on the border of their territory, namely Kanglang country, Yan country and Xiling country. Over the years, the strength of the four countries has changed significantly, and there are some disputes from time to time, but basically they are in a delicate balance. For the time being, no country has suddenly become very powerful to break this balance. But Aang fuming looked at him and said sadly, just 2 days ago, I suddenly received a secret letter. I don't know what happened to these 3 countries. They suddenly united and planned to invade our country. I'm very worried. How is it possible? Who is instigating behind this? Gao Yang Chen's face changed. With their ability, it would be no problem to fight against one of the countries. Even he himself has the ability to lead troops to attack. However, if the 3 countries unite to attack them, it would be quite dangerous. After all, the national strength of the 3 countries is not much different. If they really face such a danger, it is estimated that they will never win. Yes, I have been worried about this matter recently. Gao Yang fuming couldn't help saying. He has been sitting on the position of the emperor for decades. He has given birth to more than 20 sons and daughters. Many of them have become talents, but some are born with mixed bloodlines and cannot practice powerful martial arts. They can only live a leisurely and wealthy life. Originally, he thought that he could train these 20-odd children well, so that they could guard one side in the future. If the other 3 countries had any improper actions against them, he could ask his children to help solve them. However, he did not expect that their attacks would come so quickly. Gao Yang Chen also frowned slightly. After calculating the national strength of their country, he did not know what he thought of. Gao Yang fuming suddenly looked at him seriously. Tell me the truth. It has only been a short time since you went out, and your strength has improved so obviously. Did you have any adventure when you were arranged to go out for the trial last time? This made him feel very difficult to understand. He was still very clear about the strength level of this eldest son. After all, he was his first child, and he had high hopes for him. Although he later found that his cultivation speed was quite slow and his cultivation was far inferior to that of the other adult sons, he never thought of giving up. He always tried to find various natural treasures for him to assist him. He even contacted him with many secret places where treasures were often found and asked him to go for trials, hoping that one day his bloodline would suddenly awaken and help him to cultivate rapidly. But no one expected that he would become so powerful in just a few days and even reach the level of Jinden. Read the error-free version at 69 Shuba. 6 = 9 plus SHU_BA published this novel for the first time. You know, before he went out, he was just a foundation building cultivator. The gap between foundation building and Jinden is so big that even someone with real talent and strength like the 3rd brother would have to spend more than 10 years to cultivate successfully, and that was with the help of countless treasures. If he hadn't had any adventures, how could he have such a fast cultivation speed? Father, I won't hide it from you. Bao Yang Chen thought of the mysterious internet cafe and wanted to take people to see what was so special about it, so he told him everything that happened in the internet cafe with a very serious expression. Father, I think that senior is definitely an amazing expert. I just played with a very strange black box for an afternoon under his guidance and felt full of strength. Both my martial arts and cultivation have improved significantly. If it weren't for the help of that senior, I can't imagine that I could have resisted the attack of my 3rd brother. Is there really such a powerful person in this world? Even Aang fuming was shocked and asked seriously, do you know the origin of that senior? Has he introduced him to you? No. And there are many dazzling things in the senior's place that I have never seen before. Father, I feel that, since I have been there for such a short time and my cultivation has made such obvious progress, why not bring more people to that place to experiment and see if it will be of the same help to others? If it is useful to everyone, why don't I come forward and negotiate with the senior and ask him to use that place as the place for us to lead people to practice in the future? If we can help the elite soldiers of our country to break through the Jinden stage and above in one fell swoop, let alone the invasion of 3 countries, even if other countries on this continent are included, we don't have to be afraid at all. Gao Yang Chen's eyes were full of confidence at this moment. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel. Mundo fanfic novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8. Preparing to go to the internet cafe again. In their own country, the majority of them are still at the foundation building stage. Those who have reached the golden core stage or above are considered masters. But if the people in their country can break through the golden core stage in such a short time like themselves, do they still need to be afraid of attacks from other countries? At that time, they are afraid that they will not come. As long as they are all defeated, their land area can be expanded to 4 times the previous one, and they can also obtain countless other high quality resources. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm afraid it's not that easy. Daoist fuming knows a little about this eldest son, and because his cultivation speed is very slow, he has specially asked someone to look at it before. Even an expert has vaguely revealed to him that the blood in his eldest son's body is different from his other sons. If he finds the right method, it can help him make rapid progress, but if he doesn't find it right, he will be as slow as a turtle as before. After thinking for a while, he said, but we can't let such a rare opportunity go. Otherwise, if people from other countries find out, it will be a huge blow to us. How about this? I will arrange for a dozen of your brothers to go with you to have a look. What do you think? First of all, they are all cultivated, and their own strength is not weak. Even if there is something wrong with that senior's place, with their help and the masters I arranged for you, you can get out of it. Secondly, if that place is really a powerful place, it can make you and your brothers stronger, which is also a great benefit to us. As an emperor for many years, he naturally knew that everything should be based on the interests of his country. Even if there is such a once in a lifetime opportunity, he must let his children try it first. As long as his son has a promising future, then it doesn't matter if there are no others, as long as 1 or 2 can be left to inherit his position in the future and help the country to flourish. Yes, I'll listen to you. Bao Chen nodded vigorously. Then you can gather all the other brothers and talk to them about what's going on over there. But the fact that my cultivation has greatly increased may not be explained clearly for a while. Anyway, I have to trouble my father to make this matter more specific. Okay, I have an idea. Gao Yang fuming also agreed, and then quickly issued an order, handing over all his sons who now have cultivation and are more flexible in thinking to Chang'an Hall on the same day. On the other side, Bai Luo in the internet cafe was still sighing. Since Yang Chen left, there has been no customer coming to the internet cafe for the whole day. He was so worried that his hair was almost white, and he couldn't help but complain to the system. Even if you want to give me this internet cafe, you should at least choose a place that is more lively and has more traffic. Where can I find people in such a secluded place? Host, you have to think clearly. This internet cafe is a very powerful place. If it is arranged in a downtown area, what will people think if they find that people coming in and out are dressed differently? It would be bad if it attracts the attention of powerful people. Everything in this internet cafe is basically provided by the system. Although Bai Luo is the boss here, because internet cafes are something that people in the other world have never heard of, and there is not much traffic here. According to the system, the internet cafe cannot be moved to other places as it wishes, and can only wait for customers to come here. As the system said, it will take a long time for me to complete the task and go to other places. Host, do you want to try to contact the person before? I think he is dressed either rich or noble. If you can make friends with him, wouldn't you be able to think of a way to complete the task earlier in the future? The system suggested slyly. I do want to, but he left without leaving any traces. I don't know where he lives and where to find him. Bai Luo was not in a good mood. Isn't this just like fishing a carrot far away from him and asking him to eat it? As a result, his journey to eat the carrot is comparable to the journey to the west, and even now, there is still no hope. That's a turnover of 1 million. Where can he find it? While he was bickering with the system, Daoist fuming on the other side gathered all his more capable sons, called Daoist Chen in front of him, and said with great satisfaction, Chenna, show your brothers what you have learned outside recently. I have prepared it for you. After saying that, he waved his hand, and several masters of the Chindan period beside him brought several pieces of very hard ironwood that were hundreds of years old. The princes below were very surprised when they saw it, but with Aoyang fuming sitting in front, they did not dare to shout casually and could only watch each other's actions carefully. Aoyang fuming nodded to Aoyang Chen. Go, split these ironwoods into pieces of uniform size, and do not use any tools. Yes, father, he agreed, then moved his hands and feet and walked forward. His youngest brothers were all stunned and whispered, what is father going to do? Isn't the crown prince only at the foundation building stage? He should not be able to handle these ironwoods, right? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar's first novel. I don't know, did the crown prince have some adventures outside, and father wants him to show us his progress? It must be said that some princes are still very smart. As soon as they saw Aoyang fuming like this, they guessed what he was going to do. Sure enough, after Aoyang Chen walked forward and moved around, he faced the expectations, contempt, or watching the show of the princes, and moved his hands. A piece of ironwood that was as tall as an adult and about 2 feet thick was cut in half by him, and he actually cut it with a hand knife. The 4 princes were all stunned, staring at him with their eyes wide open. Is this still the elder brother who only has the foundation building cultivation, and who they always think is no different from trash? What's going on? After Aoyang Chen processed all the ironwood according to Aoyang Fuming's requirements, he stretched his muscles and said with a smile, I'm sure all of you brothers are very curious about when my cultivation has improved so much that I can now split these ironwoods with my bare hands. Yes, elder brother, tell us about it. Several princes immediately came forward with a brotherly look and talked to him. Aoyang Fuming cleared his throat, and the princes quickly retreated, very carefully. It's like this, I arranged for Chenna to go out for training before, and he found a very powerful place by chance. It was because of the special training there that Chenna's cultivation was able to improve by leaps and bounds. Now he is already in the top 3 among you in terms of strength. I think that place will be of great benefit to you, so I decided to let you and the eldest brother go there to try it out in person. Chapter 9 The money is coming. Father, what is that place? The 5th prince, whose mother's family was very powerful, stood up, looking for advice. Father, have we been there before? No, only your eldest brother knows how to get there, and he was lucky to find it. There is also a very powerful senior there. Anyway, after you go there, everything should follow your eldest brother's instructions. Don't mess around. I will also arrange more Chindan stage masters to protect you from behind. Having been the emperor for many years, Aoyang Fuming is still very experienced in judging the external environment. Especially when he found out that his eldest son had such an adventure, wouldn't he arrange for other sons to go and have a look? Otherwise, if his sons knew about it in the future, he didn't say it. Even though his eldest son had such an adventure, they would inevitably complain behind his back. He raised so many children, even if he couldn't treat them equally, the difference between them couldn't be too big. Otherwise, if they all made trouble one by one, wouldn't it make the former dynasty and the harem restless? In that case, I'll trouble you this time, big brother. We are all willing to go with you to have a good look. The 5th prince was very smart. He quickly came forward and even climbed onto Aoyang Chen's shoulder. Big brother, when we go to that senior, we will rely on you for help. By the way, big brother, what is the senior's temper like? I wonder what we should prepare? Aoyang Chen remembered the yuan he had mentioned to the senior the last time he met him. But apart from the yuan force they practiced, he didn't know what else was related to yuan. But last time the senior only took some spirit stones as a reward for his practice there, and didn't seem to be very interested in the gold and silver treasures he had given him. After thinking about it, he said, everyone should bring more spiritual stones. The senior doesn't seem to like the rest. Of course, you can bring more food and supplies in the storage bag. We don't know how long we will stay there. We have to be fully prepared. Okay, we all know. Thank you, big brother. Aoyang Fuming waved his hand, and everyone went down to prepare, planning to set off officially in 2 hours. In order to protect their safety, Daoist Fuming also specially selected 5 giant and stage masters for them, and repeatedly stated that when they went to see the senior this time, all their actions must be under the command of Daoist Chen, and they are not allowed to mess around. The princes naturally agreed. However, after discussing with these masters, Daoist Fulan also felt that they could not stay in one place for too long, so it would be better to limit it to 5 days. If they really found that they all made obvious progress, they could discuss with the senior and arrange people to go there to practice from time to time in the future. But for the other princes, if it is not helpful, they don't have to go after 5 days, so as to give them time to rest and prepare. Daoist Chen certainly had no objection, and soon he took a dozen of his brothers, including several masters and 4 or 5 followers, to the internet cafe. Bai Luo was worried about the lack of business, and he had dressed up as a mascot, constantly soliciting customers outside. But everyone had never seen such a strange place as an internet cafe before, and there was not much traffic nearby, and it often took half an hour to meet a few people. But everyone was in a hurry, and there was no time to stay. He leaned against the side helplessly, and complained to the system again. When can I meet people? If this goes on, I'm afraid I won't make enough money to make the million in sales, even if I stay here until I die. Host, don't be so discouraged. I observed a celestial phenomena at night, and I feel that you will become rich today. Maybe many people will come later. You can also observe the celestial phenomena. In this case, you can now show me when I can become rich. After all, I'm your host, and I can't be so stingy, right? Bai Luo laughed and scolded the system. Daoist Chen and his men searched for a long time, and with the joint deduction of several giant and stage masters, they finally found a rather strange place. After using most of their power to open the sky eye, they found that the senior was really outside. Daoist Chen was overjoyed, and hurriedly called out, "Quick, rush over at full speed, the senior is there." Yes, the masters agreed, and quickly opened the shuttle for them, placed them all on it, inlaid several top-grade spiritual stones on it, and arranged people in front to take charge of the direction, and rushed all the way to the internet cafe. The road they passed was not particularly smooth, and they encountered several waves of not particularly powerful attacks on the road, but fortunately they were all repelled by these masters. Finally, they were able to look down through the telescope on the shuttle, and saw clearly that the senior was below. Daoist Chen was very excited. After calling on his younger brothers to tidy up their clothes, he slowly stopped the shuttle in front of the internet cafe. What is this thing? It's quite big. Bai Luo looked at the big thing in front of him, which looked like a dragon boat, more than 10 meters long and 5 or 6 meters wide, and curiously circled around it. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Host, this should be the shuttle used by people in this world. It is said that it can be operated when the cultivation reaches a certain level. There must be someone on it. I told you that you are going to be rich today. The system has become more nagging than ever before today. I'll go take a look. Bai Luo took a few steps forward and heard a dang. The dragon head in front of the shuttle suddenly lifted up, and then Daoist Chen took the lead and walked out. As soon as he saw Bai Luo, Daoist Chen was extremely polite to him, as if he had seen a family member. He hurried forward and said, "Senior, nice to meet you again." "It's you." Bai Luo's mood instantly improved, and he quickly extended a hand. "I was wondering, the magpie was chirping in front of my door early this morning. It turned out that there were guests. Who are these people following you?" Bai Luo turned his head to look at the group of young people behind him who were wearing the same style, but different color clothes as him, with a puzzled look in his eyes. "Are they all your guards?" "No." Daoist Chen hurried forward to introduce, "Senior, these are my dozen younger brothers." After saying that, after introducing all the things his father had entrusted to him, he looked at him embarrassedly. "Senior, my father said that he wanted me to bring my brothers here to practice for a while. It won't take too long, just 5 days. Senior, do you think it's okay? If you think it's inappropriate, you can decide the time." 5 days? That's great. Don't worry, there's no one here right now. You can stay as long as you want. Bai Luo was so excited that he almost rubbed his hands. There were so many people, and they all looked like they had plenty of money. Their clothes were inlaid with many gems. Any gem should be worth a lot of money, right? He quickly greeted them warmly. Chapter 10. An accident happened. Come on, sit inside. You have never been here before, so you don't know how to play here. I will show you how to play in a moment. If you don't understand anything, just ask me. The princes following Yang Chen were very surprised. The decoration of this place looked completely different from the houses over there. Although it also belonged to this continent, it was beyond their imagination. The doors of the internet cafe were all opened. Several giant and stage masters were guarding them in front, behind, left and right, and watching the movements inside. After entering, they found rows of very strange things placed in this building called Internet Cafe, and they were flashing red, blue, and green lights. The masters held their weapons one by one, and their expressions were very cautious. Don't be so nervous. Bai Luo waved his hand and quickly introduced them. This is an internet cafe. The machines inside are what the young master in front of you introduced. They can help him practice. Since you are here together, I will arrange a centralized area for you, so that I can teach you later. Yang Chen nodded, and then arranged for everyone to sit down into rows of machines. Bai Luo also turned on the host, and recommended a more common way, to play Fruit Ninja to them. Hearing that Yang Chen's martial arts had improved greatly after playing the game here last time, and seeing that there were younger brothers who came with him today, Bai Luo recommended this, and took the initiative to say, after you click in, you will see the corresponding fruits. You need to use the props beside you to find various tricky angles to cut the fruits. The more you cut at one time, the more rewards you can get. This game can train your reaction speed. After getting a certain degree of rewards, you can accept them and then go buy what you like. After that, he took the lead in the front to operate it. After the last time he came here, Yang Chen had a little understanding of these games and soon got the hang of it. His younger brothers were very interested in this kind of trial game. Although they didn't play well at first, they were obviously enjoying it. Others followed suit. After trying for about half an hour, everyone was surprised to find that their strength seemed to have increased during the battle, so they hurriedly checked carefully. Because the cultivation methods of several giant and masters were relatively special, their strength progress was not obvious, but they could feel that the barriers that had imprisoned them for a long time had loosened, and they couldn't help but be very surprised. Looking at everyone's expressions, Yang Chen was quite proud. I told you, this is a treasure land. Everyone should practice well, and if you don't understand anything, ask the seniors. Yes, if you are hungry, you can eat the food here. There are plenty. He pointed to the dazzling array of drinks, cooked food, snacks, instant noodles, etc. on the shelves, and recommended them very enthusiastically. These all taste good. If you like me to sell them at a low price, I'll give you discounts. Okay, thank you senior. Everyone was immersed in this unique trial process at the moment, and didn't care about food at all. It was Yang Chen's youngest brother who was a little envious of those colorful things, which felt completely different from what they brought out. Although they also put a locker in their storage bag, which sealed enough food for them to eat for half a month. They were all ingredients rich in spiritual energy, so they were relatively simple to handle. In this continent, there is a profession called spiritual chef, who is responsible for cooking food for powerful people. Of course, what they make is much more delicious than what ordinary people make. But ordinary people can only eat very ordinary food, and everyone doesn't know how to use various seasonings to cook. At most, they will only add some oil and salt, and only eat the original taste of the food. Therefore, looking at those unappetizing things, the little prince was not very willing to eat them, and carefully pointed to Yang Chen. Brother, can I eat the things sold by the senior? They look very good. Yang Chen drank a bottle of water here last time, and he felt as if his Ren and Du meridians were opened, and his whole body was very comfortable, so he agreed. Okay, 15th brother, if you like, ask the senior to get some for you, and it will be charged to my account. I will treat you. Thank you, brother. 15th house was very happy, and ran to Bai Luo. He touched the little boy's head, and pointed at the things on the shelf. What do you want to eat? Do you want to eat this instant noodle? This Sichuan pepper flavor is my favorite. Sour and spicy, especially good. There are also potato chips, cucumber, and corn flavors I also like. Do you want to try it? After that, he opened a bag. Here, let you taste it first. If you think it's good, then buy it. Let's try it first. The 15th prince hesitated for a moment, but Yang Chen was very considerate and took the initiative to step forward. 15th brother, let me try it first. I also ate something here before. It tastes good. After that, he took a piece of potato chips and put it in his mouth. As soon as he bit it, he felt several different flavors bursting in his mouth. At the same time, there was an endless stream of power circulating in his body. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. He quickly steadied his breathing, stored his strength in his danshan, and called the 15th prince. Try it, this tastes good. Thank you, big brother. After hearing what Yang Chen said, the 15th prince took the potato chips from Bai Luo's hand. As a result, he had just eaten a few chips when he felt the power in his body begin to surge wildly. After all, he was still young. If he was not the youngest son of Yang Fuming, this training would not have been arranged for him. He could not bear the unique energy in these foods, and his eyes turned white. Yang Chen was startled and rushed over to support him. 15th brother, what's wrong with you? The 15th prince felt hot and cold, half closed his eyes, and said in pain, big brother, I feel like something in my body is about to explode. What is this? Why is this happening? Bai Luo was also shocked and rushed forward to check. At the same time, he carefully contacted the system in his sea of consciousness. What's going on? Could these things be expired? How is that possible? Host, don't worry, the boy is just too young to accept the sudden strong energy injection. You let those middle-aged men in black come over to take a look at him. They know what's going on. He still had some trust in the system. Apart from giving him this internet cafe built in a remote place, it didn't seem to have harmed him. He could only greet Yang Chen. Chapter 11 Found a treasure. Those are the guards beside you, right? Let them come and have a look. Don't worry, there will be no problem with the things I have here. Several masters also rushed over. After carefully examining the 15th prince, they unexpectedly found that there was a lot of energy surging in his body. But after they came, they stayed with the princes. Because of his young age, the 15th prince did not dare to move around. After asking Bai Luo, he learned that he had only eaten potato chips. After picking up a piece and putting it in his mouth, the moment he bit it open, he suddenly felt countless energy pouring into his body. His eyes were wide open in shock, and he said to Yang Chen, Your Highness, the 15th prince ate this food, and the energy contained in it was temporarily unbearable for his body. Why don't we help to sort it out temporarily? Your Highness will be able to recover soon. Really? That's good. It really scared me. Thank you for your help. Yang Chen breathed a sigh of relief and quickly asked them to send the 15th prince aside. After a while of sorting, it was seen that the 15th prince's face looked much better than before. After he was fully awake, he touched his chest and said to Yang Chen excitedly, Brother, I feel that I have made some progress. What I learned before seems to be becoming clearer and clearer in my mind. Really? I said that there are treasures everywhere here, which will be good for you. Yang Chen gently touched his head. The princes beside him also surrounded the 15th prince at the moment of the accident. It's not that they have such a deep brotherly love, but this is the youngest son of the emperor after all. If there is any accident outside, I'm afraid that they, as brothers, will also be blamed. They can only pretend to care about him very much. After hearing what these masters said, and knowing that the 15th prince's strength suddenly increased, after eating the food here, they all looked at Bai Luo with expectation. Senior, can we eat the food here too? Of course, but considering the situation of this young friend just now, I suggest that you don't eat too much at one time. See if your body can adapt first, and then try other things. After saying that, Bai Luo brought over a few bags of potato chips, and then placed the food in front of them according to the calorie level, and let them try it first. Gao Yang was skilled and bold, and he felt that he had eaten the potato chips just now. Except for the sudden increase in energy in his body, he didn't feel anything particularly uncomfortable, so he quickly bought several things. Seeing this, the other princes rushed to grab them. Regardless of whether they had seen those things before, they just bought them first. They didn't have RMB on them, and Bai Luo was not in a hurry. After communicating with the system, he decided to pay with spirit stones as before. However, he couldn't take the opportunity to raise the price, so he could only charge according to the original price of these foods and the conversion of spirit stones and RMB. Although there were many things on the shelves, after more than a dozen princes and several masters robbed them, even half of the shelves were emptied, and the turnover of the internet cafe increased rapidly. Bai Luo's eyes narrowed with laughter. He invited them to eat something first, and then replenished it when he felt that the food was good. Then he sat in front of the bar excitedly to check his income today, and said to the system proudly, "It seems that my luck is really good today. I guess the turnover of one day is more than that of an ordinary internet cafe in a month, right?" "Yes, host, so you have to build a good relationship with them so that you can achieve the turnover goal as soon as possible. Go to other places, I believe in you." After the system finished speaking, it didn't say anything, but just silently replenished the empty space on the shelf. Even if these people don't buy it later, they can put it in the host's storage bag, and he can take it with him when he goes to other places for trials in the future. The system is full of confidence in Bai Luo, thinking that it is just a matter of completing a turnover, and he will definitely be able to solve it soon. With these people pushing in the middle, won't it be possible to go out and experience soon? I can also see more vast places, and I'm full of confidence in the future. These princes are also very experimental, especially after the masters checked and found that the things were not poisonous. They did not care and began to solve these foods, playing games and eating at the same time, and their strengths improved a lot without knowing it. After most of the day, with Bai Luo's permission, they asked several masters to support a protective shield for them. When they competed in the open space behind, they were surprised to find that many of the big moves that could not be used before were now completely no problem, and their strengths were much better than before. The masters were very pleased. Even if they took these princes back now, the emperor would be very satisfied after seeing their strength improvement. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. It's been less than a day, and they are so powerful. They don't even dare to imagine how much they can improve after 5 days. However, among all these people, Dao Yang has made the fastest progress in strength. The last time he came here, he had just entered the giant stage. The reason why he was able to suppress Ayanki was because his blood was originally very strong. When he used his ultimate move, he would not consume too much vitality, so he could suppress Ayanki. But after playing here for another afternoon, his strength level was so high that even one of the giant stage masters had to use 70% of his ability to tie with him. Everyone was very surprised and became more awed by this originally ordinary prince. Gao Yang fuming didn't know that his son had changed significantly after going out. He was busy with the invasion of the Three Kingdoms recently, but he didn't know that something happened in the harem. Gao Yangzu is Yang Fuming's youngest daughter. She has a very lively personality and usually likes to pretend to be an ordinary person to play outside. Her mother doted on her, and there were several masters around her to protect her, so she didn't keep her in the palace. But she didn't expect that this time she went out for 2.5 days under the pretext of going to Minimum Street to watch the lantern show, but there was no news. Her mother, concubine Liu, was completely panicked and quickly told Yang fuming about this matter, crying bitterly, "Your Majesty, please quickly arrange for someone to go out and find Zua. She is still so young. What if she encounters danger? I have arranged for people to contact the masters who protected Zua before, but there has been no news so far." Yang fuming also walked around anxiously. Chapter 12. Accidental. Gao Yangzu is only 13 years old now. Although she has eaten a lot of good food in the palace for so many years, she looks no different from a girl of 14 or 15 years old outside, but her age is not high. The reason why she dared to go out to play is because there are many masters behind her. But why did she suddenly disappear this time? Just as he was comforting Liu and asking people to find a way to rescue our Yangzu, an urgent letter suddenly came from outside. The crane, acting as a messenger, flapped its wings and flew over all the way, exhausted. After receiving the secret letter from the official who raised the crane, Bao Yang Fuming's face was very serious. After thinking about it, he could only say to Liu, now that the 3 countries are invading, it is very dangerous here. I can only deal with the things over there first. As for Zua, don't worry. I will arrange for my men to find her and bring her back as soon as possible. Don't be afraid. Yes, I remember everything. Liu nodded, but her eyes were still full of worry. Yang Chen and others who were still in the internet cafe didn't know that Yang Zhu was in trouble. He only took his brothers and these masters to play games every day to improve their strength. They almost wanted to stay here for more than 10 years. But so many people suddenly came to the internet cafe, and they were also excited that they wanted to spend all their time and energy on games and real life drills except for eating and going to the toilet. None of them thought about leaving the internet cafe. That evening, Bai Luo discovered that several machines could not be turned on normally. He was very confused and asked the system, what happened? Could it be that these machines suddenly had problems because no one was using them? Host, it's not like that. The system explained to him a little embarrassedly. The electricity of this internet cafe needs to be supplemented by burning wood outside. It's my fault that I forgot to remind you before. Are you kidding me? Bai Luo couldn't help but complain. This is the first time I heard that the electricity of an internet cafe needs to be supplemented by burning firewood. It's really eye-opening. Host, don't say that. I didn't mean it. I was too busy before and didn't have time to tell you. But using firewood to provide electricity is also good. There is a large forest outside. How much firewood do you want? Don't worry. There are many forests nearby. But I remember I asked you before. You said there are many strange plants growing in these forests, some of which are blood-sucking. In such a vast forest, who knows what kind of powerful beasts live in it? Am I not running in with my small body to deliver food to them? Bai Luo was very unhappy. Since we can use electricity, it is really strange to burn firewood. If he is asked to burn firewood to keep warm in winter, he can understand it. But burning firewood to provide electricity, no one can accept it, right? Okay, host, don't say any more. Also, a friendly reminder to you, this internet cafe can be continuously upgraded in the future. Now it is only in the most primitive state, and it needs to burn firewood to provide electricity. But when you gradually upgrade, you can use spirit stones or various natural treasures to provide electricity, and you don't need to go out to find firewood like now. Go quickly, or this is related to your insufficient turnover. When your turnover reaches 1 million, you can proceed to the next upgrade. If you hadn't told me earlier, I would have clearly been tricked by you. I have encountered such a bad luck. Having said that, he couldn't just ignore the internet cafe. It was not easy to meet so many people. Bai Luo was counting on them to stay in the internet cafe for a while and help him complete the turnover as soon as possible. Of course, the internet cafe couldn't lose power suddenly due to insufficient electricity. If they didn't find a suitable place for the trial, what would they do if they left suddenly? Thinking of this, he could only take the axe and the corresponding cleaning tools at the back door of the internet cafe and walk out. Yangzu was also unlucky. She had brought several masters to watch the Lantern Festival that day. It was quite safe at the beginning. In addition, although she had a lively personality, her brain was still working well, and she didn't dare to go to all kinds of strange places alone. But she didn't expect that the person who wanted to kidnap her that day had been watching her for a long time and was quite familiar with all her behaviors. First, he created several chaos nearby and sent the masters around her to different places. Then he used a very powerful psychedelic array to trap her in it. Yangzu's talent for formations was not high, and her cultivation was not enough. She was trapped in the formation for a long time and could not get out. She was very tired. Taking this opportunity, the person behind her took her to a place where no one was going to shit. Gao Yangzu spent a long time running out of the cave, but all the valuable things on her were taken away, and her storage bag was empty. The only meat still needed to be processed before it could be eaten. She had no choice but to run into the forest to see if her luck was good and if she could find something to eat. But what happened after she came out made our Yangzu sigh. It seems that she has to check the almanac before going out in the future to see if it is suitable to go out today. After experiencing such a series of changes, and with no food around her, she could only run around in the forest. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. She was so hungry that she was dizzy and could not tell what those strange species in the forest were. She ran into Teoti's cave by mistake. Teoti is greedy. Basically, as long as it can be eaten and is not poisonous, it will swallow it without any hesitation. However, Gao Yangzu still has the sense of spiritual treasure. She felt that there was a very powerful spiritual herb in Teoti's cave, which could help her replenish her blood after eating it, so she bravely touched it. Teoti never thought that a small human would dare to come to him to rob things, and in a rage, he tied Gao Yangzu up. In the face of an emergency, the formation that Liu had set up on Gao Yangzu played a huge role. Not only did she break free from the restraints, but it also made Gao Yangzu's speed much faster. She fled outside in a panic. Bai Luo searched outside for a long time, but couldn't find any dry firewood. He didn't know what the weather would be like, so he could only go deeper into the forest. He bumped into Gao Yangzu. At first, he was still wondering why such a young and cute girl would appear in the forest. But before he could think about it for a moment, he heard a deafening roar from behind. Chapter 13 Can't just leave it alone. The Teoti was very fast, and its huge body did not hinder it at all. Instead, it caused the wood, stone and soil on the ground to fly up as it moved forward, just like a tornado passing through, leaving a mess. Those who have cultivated to the level of Teoti can basically speak human language. They shouted angrily in the direction of Gao Yangzu. Damn human, return the things in the cave to me, otherwise I will eat you alive today. Gao Yangzu was so scared that her legs went weak. She instinctively felt that the man in front of her should be able to help her. After all, anyone who could run deep into the forest must be a powerful character. She quickly grabbed his arm tightly, looking pitiful. Big brother, please help me. I'm being targeted. Please help me drive it away. I've been hungry for so long. I'm dizzy. If I'm caught, it will definitely eat me alive. How did you get mad at the Teoti? Bai Luo was very surprised and quickly pulled Gao Yangzu's hand away. Don't mess around. I'm just an ordinary person. I don't have much cultivation. I'm definitely not a match for Teoti. Even if the two of us join forces to fight it, we have no chance of winning. Don't hurt me. He had some understanding of Teoti, this level of beast, not to mention him now. Even if his cultivation level increased by a few major realms, he might not be able to escape unscathed from Teoti. This girl is really brave enough. Help me. If you don't help me, I will have to die. If I get into trouble, my family will definitely not let you go. Gao Yangzu started the pestering mode, grabbed his sleeve, and refused to let go. Teoti had already rushed in front of them. Bai Luo looked at it awkwardly. We can talk it over. I don't know her, but she insisted on pestering me. What did she steal from you? Can I talk to her and ask her to give it back to you? Gao Yangzu hugged the spiritual grass in her arms tightly and shook her head like a wave drum. I can't give it back. I got it with great difficulty. This is mine. Shameless human. That is clearly from my cave. Give it back to me. Teoti said, sweeping its huge tail, and countless large rocks flew towards Bai Luo. Gao Yangzu was so scared that she screamed and hid behind Bai Luo. No matter how he avoided her, she would not leave, and she completely regarded him as her protector. Teoti saw that the human man in front of him dodged very quickly, and his tail could not even hit him. In anger, he stomped his claws heavily on the ground, trying to attack by surprise. As a result, after Bai Luo sensed the movement of Teoti, his aura suddenly opened a very powerful protective shield. A blue-purple light flashed, and the claw that Teoti had just attacked him was immediately cut by the light. It roared in pain and carefully stepped back a few steps. Teota's skin and flesh were very strong, and it had a layer of hard armor like steel on its body. It didn't expect that a human's attack would hurt it. Teota didn't dare to fight anymore. After carefully probing twice, he found that the human seemed to have a very powerful treasure protecting him, so he could only turn around and run away angrily. As a result, because of the injury just now, the blood in Teota's body dripped onto the ground, and while spreading rapidly on the ground, it also stained Ao Yangzu's feet. The blood seemed to have its own life. The moment it touched Ao Yangzu's skin, a very obvious red mark appeared on her arm. Ao Yangzu felt her whole body was cold and hot. She rolled her eyes and fell on Bai Luo's back without any feeling. "Hey, what's wrong with you?" He hadn't thought of causing trouble, but he didn't expect the girl to faint suddenly. He patted her face anxiously. "Don't scare me. I tell you, I have no money. Don't think about blackmailing me. Wake up. If you don't wake up, I will throw you into the forest. If a wild beast eats you, I won't be responsible." But he called for a long time, but Ao Yangzu didn't respond. Bai Luo felt her pulse and found it was in a mess. Her temperature also fluctuated greatly. He was extremely anxious and could only ask the system for help. "What should I do? How can I treat her? I have never seen this before." "I have no way either," the system said very helplessly. "I can't provide treatment. You can only take her back and see if you can look through medical books to find a way to treat her. This little girl is well dressed. I guess her family must be rich or noble. After the host cures her, there may be new opportunities. That depends on me curing her. Why am I so unlucky?" He was so angry, but it was a life after all. He couldn't just ignore it. He could only collect some wood nearby, put it in a backpack, and carry Ao Yangzu back. Ao Yangchen and the others who were still in the internet cafe were practicing, like they were possessed by demons. They didn't even notice that he had left. After completing 2 more levels of the game, Ao Yangchen felt that his strength had greatly improved. He touched his stomach and felt hungry. As a result, he searched his storage bag and found that, because the food he had eaten before contained energy, he had eaten a lot of it all at once, and now there was not much stock left. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. When they walked to the front of the shelf, they took a closer look and found that, because their consumption was too high recently, and the system followed Bai Luo out, they didn't have time to replenish it in time. The instant noodles and cola they needed most were gone. Everyone panicked and asked him anxiously, "Where did the senior go? Could it be that he is not willing to provide us with food because we have eaten too much recently?" "No, the senior is not that kind of person." Ao Yangchen frowned. "Maybe the senior went out first because of something. Let's look carefully nearby." "Got it." Everyone dispersed. But after Bai Luo carried Ao Yangzu back, he didn't dare to go directly to the main door. He could only go in through a small dark door next to him and put Ao Yangzu in the only lounge. It was his first time to treat someone's wound. In addition, the other party was a girl. Although she looked young, there was a difference between men and women. He didn't know where she was injured. Bai Luo could only roll up her sleeves and trouser legs and carefully clean the scratches on her body. Under the guidance of the system, he finally succeeded in finding some iodine, alcohol, cotton swabs, gauze sticks, etc. He saw that there were some wood splinters and the more serious scratches on Ao Yangzu's body, so he had to help remove them first. He was so anxious that sweat came down on his forehead. He removed them very seriously. Ao Yangchen and the others finally found Bai Luo, but when they suddenly opened the door, they found that Ao Yangzu was lying on the bed with a red face, and her arms and legs were exposed. Chapter 14 Misunderstanding. Bai Luo, who was beside her, was holding a bunch of things they had never seen before, and was groping at her arm. The 5th prince roared and rushed forward. "What are you doing? Let my sister go. It's all a misunderstanding. I'm treating her wounds." Bai Luo raised his hand quickly, but even Ao Yangchen misunderstood the scene just now, thinking that he was going to do something bad to Ao Yangzu. He quickly took off his clothes and put them on Ao Yangzu's body, shaking his head at him. "Senior, this is inappropriate. How could Zua suddenly be in your room? This is a long story. I met her in the forest. After Bai Luo explained the matter to him briefly, he shook his head. Since you are her brothers, you can help treat her wounds. I brought her back just now because I saw that she was really injured. I really didn't do anything to her. But she was just a little girl who looked more than 10 years old, and she didn't even have the characteristics of a woman. How could he have any thoughts that he shouldn't have? Bai Luo felt that his image in the eyes of Liang Chen and the others was too bad. They actually thought so. Are you lying to us? Several older princes did not seem to trust him very much, and they looked unhappy. Even if you want to treat Zua's injuries, open the protective barrier and use spiritual power to slowly treat her. Why do you mess up Zua's clothes? If Father knew, he would never let you go. I said it was a misunderstanding. I use the current medical technology, which is different from yours. It is necessary to see clearly where the injury is before I can bandage and treat her. Anyway, if you don't believe it, you can check if there is anything wrong with her body. She was in danger in the forest. If I hadn't helped her, she would have died by now. You don't know how to be kind? Bai Luo was very unhappy and turned his head away and walked out. Liang Chen still had some trust in him and felt that Zua was still young. Even if the senior really liked her, she would not do such a beastly thing. He could only call in a few giant and stage masters to come in and check Liang Zhu. However, these princes did not trust Bai Luo. They came to Liang Chen one by one and chatted non-stop. Brother, go and ask him what he wants to do. Zua is our youngest sister. If Father knew that she was bullied outside, he would definitely not let him go. Well, I know. Wait a minute. Don't talk nonsense. We are still counting on the senior to provide us with a place to practice. If we offend him, it will be more trouble than gain. They came here just now to look for instant noodles and cola. These two things have the strongest energy for them, and they can also be stored in the body for most of the time. It's just that their consumption is too large, so they didn't have time to replenish them in time. When Liang Chen rushed outside, he found Bai Luo leaning against the wall alone and sulking. After hesitating for a moment, he hurried forward to apologize. Senior, I'm sorry. My brothers were too worried about Zua, so they said something a bit too much. But please rest assured, they meant no harm. No harm. Just now, their eyes were so fierce that they wanted to eat me alive. You call this no harm? If I hadn't explained it quickly, I would have been dealt with by them now. Bai Luo was very unhappy. He was doing good things this time. Why couldn't those people understand? Senior, can you explain what happened just now in more detail? Zua used to stay at home with us. With her cultivation level, my father should not let her out. Liang Chen was the smartest one among these people. He didn't get angry rashly, but sincerely asked Bai Luo to repeat what happened just now. Bai Luo glanced at him, and considering that he had brought him huge sales, he could only say, I originally went out to chop firewood to provide electricity to the internet cafe. After he recounted what had just happened in detail, he spread his hands helplessly. Have I made it clear enough? As for how she ran into the forest, you have to wait until she wakes up before asking her. If she has a little conscience, she should tell the truth. If she hadn't been pestering me, I would have chopped enough firewood and returned by now. What does it have to do with me? I see. Thank you, senior. Bai Luo did not say that they encountered a Teoti in the woods, and Liang Chen thought it was just an ordinary monster and was very embarrassed. Zua is young and has low cultivation. It is normal that she cannot deal with the monsters. Thanks to the help of the senior. But what happened just now has damaged Zua's reputation. If the senior doesn't mind, we will tell my father about this after we go back, and he will preside over your marriage. What do you think? No, I was helping her just now. How can I treat her if I don't check where she was injured? Just like this, you ask me to marry her? Bai Luo was almost stunned. The system quickly reminded him, host, the concept of each world is different. This is a different world. In their minds, if a woman's arms and legs are cut off by you, her reputation will naturally be affected. You must marry her. But this little girl is pretty, and she is their sister. She should be born well. Why don't you marry her? Maybe there will be great benefits. Senior, don't you want to? Liang Chen was a little embarrassed. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK underscore BAR published this novel for the first time. Zua has a bad temper. If she finds out that you treated her like this, she will probably ask you to marry her, right? Wait. Tell me first, how old is your sister? I think you are only in your early 20s. Bai Luo was shocked. Do people in this world get married so early? Zua is already 13 this year. Dao Chen didn't think there was anything wrong. After all, in their place, women can consider getting married after they are 15 and have a rite of passage. It's just that the more advanced the cultivation, the less they care about getting married. So in order to ensure the continuation of the family's offspring, generally speaking, men and women in their 20s will be required to give birth to children before continuing to cultivate. She's only 13 years old. Bai Luo felt that his 3 views were shattered and refused firmly. No matter how angry she gets after she wakes up, I will never marry her. The age gap between her and me is too big, and I'm not interested in little girls like this. This time, I saved her anyway. You shouldn't be like this in front of your savior, right? Senior. Dao Chen was extremely embarrassed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, The Trial of the Three Kingdoms. Zua has been spoiled by her father. If she finds out that she is unwilling to marry someone who damages her reputation, she will be furious. Just when the two were in a stalemate, a prince's painful groan suddenly came from outside, and there was a master beside him. The master was also in a dilemma. Master, please think of a way. I don't know what happened to the 7th master. He just felt abdominal pain and went to the toilet, but there was no improvement. What's the matter? Bai Luo's eyes changed, and he walked forward quickly. After checking him in person, his expression became a little strange. You went to the toilet just now. Did you succeed? No. The 7th prince was very embarrassed and rubbed his stomach. Senior, I feel a pain in my stomach, and I don't seem to have succeeded since I came to you. The meaning is very clear. He hasn't had a bowel movement yet. Bai Luo breathed a sigh of relief and quickly contacted the system. He learned that he had just absorbed too much and was unable to absorb more power and had not gone to the toilet. Those things had been accumulating in his stomach, which caused the abdominal pain. He quickly went to the cabinet and took him a box of stomach strengthening and digestion promoting tablets. Here, you will get better soon after taking them. Remember, don't eat too much at one time in the future. Senior, what is this? The 7th prince took the box unexpectedly. There were some words written on it. He recognized them all, but he had never seen such a thing before. Don't worry, this is just medicine to facilitate your digestion. If you don't believe it, ask someone next to you to check it. By the way, if your stomach really hurts a lot, I can also prescribe a prescription for you. After saying that, Bai Luo quickly wrote down a prescription and handed it to the person next to him. You are a guard, you must know all this very well. This is just a very common laxative prescription. Follow the instructions on the herbs, boil the medicine and drink it, and he will be successful in 2 hours at most. Yes, thank you. The master nodded quickly. Soon, according to what Bai Luo said just now, he took some medicine from him and boiled it for the 7th prince to take. The system is an encyclopedia. Most of the things are still understood, and it is easy to prescribe a prescription. Sure enough, after taking the medicine, the 7th prince stayed in the toilet for a full quarter of an hour and finally came out with the help of the wall, but his face was full of satisfaction, and it was estimated that he had succeeded. Seeing that he was obviously getting better, Dao Chen hurried forward to thank him. Thank you for your help, otherwise I don't know how uncomfortable my 7th brother would be. I've said it before, although those things are all energetic, you can't eat too much at one time, it's not good for your body. Okay, I've already replenished the things on the shelf. If you need anything, come and get it yourself later. The price remains the same. With that, Bai Luo walked to the front of the bar to help clean up. In the blink of an eye, the 5 days were up. According to the previous agreement, Bao Yangchen paid the senior the cost of their trial here in Spirit Stones and reluctantly said goodbye to him. Senior, we have to go back now. Okay, let's go first. By the way, this thing is for you. Bai Luo said, and took out a map. I don't know how far I'm from your hometown, but with the map in the future, you can find me more easily. Take it. Gao Yangchen was overjoyed. This thing was too useful for them, and he quickly agreed. However, after they go back, they have to report to their father how much progress they have made in the recent trials here. Zua is still in a coma, and it is unknown when she will wake up. After hesitating for a moment, he discussed with these masters and took the initiative to say to Bai Luo, Senior, can you please help take care of my sister? No matter how much money is spent or what medicinal materials are used, you can write it down. We are willing to pay double the thank you fee. What do you think? Bai Luo was eager to make more money. Moreover, he felt that she was just a little girl, and it was not a big deal for her to lie there without knowing whether she was alive or dead, so he agreed. Gao Yangchen did this because he was worried about the invasion of the 3 countries that his father had mentioned before. If she encountered danger on the road, no one would be able to protect Zua, and she would be in greater danger. However, through these days of getting along, he felt that the senior should be a very reliable person and would not do anything to his sister. Everyone found that he said so they naturally had no objection. Gao Yangzu is now unconscious, which is indeed a burden to them. It is better to leave her here. Read the error-free version at 69 Shuba. 6 = 9 plus SHU_BA published this novel for the first time. But they didn't know that during the internet cafe trial, the Imperial City had been attacked by more than a dozen giant masters. Although the emperors of the 3 countries had met and negotiated privately before and decided to attack the Imperial City from different directions, this matter had not been widely spread. Therefore, after discussing it, everyone decided to send some masters to attack first to see if they could break the important defense on their side first, so that it would be convenient for the army behind to drive in directly. These masters disguised themselves as ordinary farmers and planned to enter from the gate of the Imperial City with their burdens. However, the aura on them was quite obvious. The soldiers at the gate were a little suspicious and stretched out their hands to them. Where are your ID cards? Hand them over to us for inspection first. The emperor said that things have been uneasy recently. All people must undergo strict inspection before entering the city. Please understand. These masters didn't know that there was such a rule for entering the Imperial City, and their faces were a little ugly. After a while, another expert disguised as an old man stood up, looking very embarrassed. Sir, I'm really sorry. Our family's ID card was lost a few days ago, and we haven't had time to reissue it. Could you please let us in? We are ordinary vegetable farmers, and there must be no problem with our identities. No, the soldier's face changed. This is the emperor's rule, and everyone must abide by it. You see, everyone else has an ID card. We will let you in immediately, after checking to make sure there is no problem. Even if your family's ID card is lost, you must have relatives at home, right? Find someone who can prove your identity and come over. But when they came here, they just changed their clothes and appearance to imitate the people here. They didn't know there was such a thing as an ID card, so they could only retreat carefully. The dozen people discussed, why don't we just deal with them directly, and we can take advantage of the chaos to break in. Chapter 16, Time of Crisis. Isn't this inappropriate? There are so many ordinary people around, they are all innocent. One master was not convinced. They had to deal with the soldiers of the Imperial City and the masters of the same level as them. As for the ordinary people, there was really no need to deal with them. If they could divide this place in the future, the people could still be used by them, so they couldn't kill them all. Then tell me how to get in. The inspection is so strict, we can't get through without our ID cards. These masters discussed for a long time, and finally decided to force their way in from the Imperial City. After all, this was an order given to them by the Emperor of the 3 Kingdoms. If they couldn't complete it as soon as possible, they would probably be severely punished after returning. Thinking of this, they restored their original appearance and planned to force their way in with magic weapons. the soldiers found that a dozen people wearing black clothes and black robes and iron masks suddenly came in front of them. They were very alert and hurriedly called the people to enter the city and asked the brothers beside them to close the city gate together. These people were not easy to mess with at first glance, so they couldn't let them harm the people. But the masters rushed forward, and with a wave of their hands, they pushed the gate open, threw the two soldiers who were in the way onto the wall, and drove into the Imperial City. Their target was the palace. If they could deal with Aoyang fuming, the rest would be much easier. Aoyang fuming never thought that the test from the three kingdoms would come so quickly. Although there were some masters in the palace, they had chosen a very hidden place. After rushing over, they went straight to his lifeline, and he had a hard time dealing with it. There were guards nearby who came to protect him, but they were still no match for the masters. In addition, they had prepared a lot of thunderstorm talismans, thunder bombs, etc. when they came. In a blink of an eye, several palaces were blown beyond recognition, and the servants in the palace screamed and fled in panic. Aoyang Chen sat on the shuttle, feeling as if his heart was pinched by something. He stood up anxiously and urged the master who was responsible for driving the shuttle in front. "Master Zhang, please speed up. I'm a little panicked and worried that something has happened in the Imperial City." "Yes," Master Zhang agreed straightforwardly and immediately turned around and rushed towards the depths of the clouds. Just now, for the sake of safety, they had been flying the shuttle in a relatively safe place, but since His Royal Highness the Crown Prince had given the order, they could only speed up and rush over. In fact, they also felt that there might be unrest in the Imperial City. After all, when they came here just now, they found a bunch of very strange clouds appeared near the Imperial Palace. These were rarely seen in normal times, and they couldn't help but feel a little worried. The speed of the shuttle was instantly raised to the extreme. Aoyang Chen ordered all the princes to put on their most powerful protective magic weapons and prepare their weapons. He always felt that a big battle had happened in the Imperial Palace. Fortunately, they rushed back in time by shuttle. At this time, Aoyang Fuming had been beaten and had wounds all over his body. Even though he was constantly taking Huo and Dan during the fight, he still couldn't withstand the repeated attacks of these masters. Just when he sighed in his heart, "I guess I will die here today, and I don't know what kind of harm their country will suffer from the other three countries in the future." Aoyang Chen suddenly jumped out of the shuttle with a big iron hammer in his hand. Angrily, "Let go of my father," he roared, and the iron hammer in his hand was mixed with thunder and anger, and he smashed it hard at a black-robed master in front of him. It was broad daylight now, but the power of the lightning did not weaken at all. He hit the master next to him with this fierce hammer, and he was shocked to step back several steps, and a big pit appeared on the ground. "Come and help." He gave an order, and the princes rushed up with weapons. During this period of time, they received very rigorous training while playing games, and now their strength and martial arts have greatly improved. Even if they are facing these giant masters whose strength is 10% higher than theirs, they are not afraid at all. With the help of the people he brought with him, he soon surrounded these giant masters in the middle. Then, he called several princes who were good at formations. "Do as I said, set up a killing formation that will drag you down. We must not let them escape this time." Faced with a powerful enemy, the princes did not have any small thoughts and quickly took out all the precious materials in their storage bags. With the help of other princes and masters, including the guards who had already rushed over, they helped to contain the people from other countries, successfully buying them time to set up the formation. However, a quarter of an hour later, a huge killing formation with a blood red glow had been set up. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 + BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Then, Aoyang Chen called several princes to stand at the four directions of the formation, and he rushed over waving a big hammer. He had to drive all those who dared to invade into the formation. When the killing formation was officially activated, even if it took time, he would grind them to death in it. The one who made the most progress in the internet cafe during this period of time was none other than Aoyang Chen. In addition, his blood was very strong, so when he used his ultimate move, he not only did not feel tired, but became more and more energetic. The blood of those masters was suppressed by him, and it was difficult for them to deal with it. The princes even used all kinds of magic weapons and drove them into the formation desperately. Seeing that the last master was trapped in the formation, Bao Chen simply pressed the mechanism, and a blood-red cover surrounded all the masters inside, and countless vitality attacks of various colors hit them one after another. After seeing the mystery of this formation, the masters of their own country hurried over to help them replenish their vitality. After more than half an hour of strangulation, the masters from the other 3 countries were beaten one by one, and only a little blood was left. Gao Yang fuming then walked forward, holding his chest. Gao Chen was about to ask him whether he wanted to keep them alive and where they came from, but Gao Yang fuming waved his hand and said, "Kill them directly. I know where they came from." Hearing his father say this, he no longer had any scruples and smashed the entire formation with one blow. Those masters were only holding on to their last breath, but they were attacked by the powerful force of thunder and lightning. They had no ability to resist, and died one after another. The whole room was filled with a very strong smell of blood. Gao Chen waved his hand, and placed them all in the ice coffin made of black iron. He then called on the masters around him to analyze whether there was anything special about them, and by the way, looted all the storage bags they brought with them. Then he escorted Yang fuming to another safe place, to help him heal his wounds. Chapter 17 What is the cause of disease? In the palace of Kanglang Kingdom, Leng Yu, Liu Yui and Si Xingshan stood in front of a huge purple crystal mirror. When arranging those masters to go out, Liu Yui used the unique skills of Xiling Kingdom to place restrictions on them, which not only allowed him to know where they were now, but also to feel the situation of those masters. However, he found that the red dot that originally appeared on the crystal mirror disappeared in the blink of an eye. Liu Yui was so angry that he clenched his fists. "What's going on?" Leng Yu turned her head and looked at him. "Didn't you say that as long as the red dot flashes, it means they are still alive? Then this is..." How could she believe this? So many masters died in the blink of an eye. How many masters are there on Yang Fuming's side? Could it be a mistake? After all, it's so far away. Si Xingshan was still unwilling to give up, and looked at Liu Yui. "Look again. How could so many giant unstage masters be wiped out suddenly? If that's the case, do we have a chance of winning if we go and attack?" He originally thought that with so many masters, even if they couldn't get rid of Yang Fuming, they could at least turn the palace upside down. But after they had only said a few words, they found that the red dot on it had disappeared. What happened? It can't be wrong. This is a secret technique that has been passed down in our country for thousands of years. It can't be wrong. Liu Yui gritted his teeth fiercely. It seems that we have all underestimated that old man. Maybe he has already set up a trap in private, waiting for us to arrange people to fall into the trap. The people we arranged to go there have definitely gone, right? Leng Yu slowly narrowed his eyes, with murderous intent flashing in his eyes. How dare he? We lost so many people this time, and we will definitely settle this account with him. Si Xingshan was also very angry. But when we were playing small games in the 3 kingdoms before, Yang Fuming didn't show such a strong strength in front of us. Do you think he is deliberately hiding it? Si Xingshan touched the stubble on his chin, and his eyes were also full of haze. It is not easy to train a master of the giant unstage. As a result, the 3 kingdoms lost more than a dozen of them at once, and they are all extremely good at assassination. How long will it take to make up for the loss? It seems that we can't deal with them directly in a short time. Next, arrange another group of people to see if the old man has arranged for the masters of the country to go to certain places for very strict secret training recently. Otherwise, there is no reason for them to suddenly become so powerful. Leng Yu reminded. They didn't know that those masters were strangled by Yang Chen, the prince and the giant unstage guards. They went there this time, but no matter what the reason, they were not the opponent of the other party. This is a fact. All up to you. We have to arrange some spies to go there later. Si Xingshan nodded, and the 3 of them conspired again. Yang Fuming was very satisfied with the progress of Yang Chen and his friends this time, but he had a lot of wounds on his body at this moment, and the concubines in the harem had already swarmed up to him to show him all kinds of care. He could only let them go back to rest first, and planned to ask them what they had learned in that mysterious place recently, after he got better. Yang Chen and his friends had been back for more than a day, but Bai Luo found that Yang Zhu was still lying on the bed motionless. He gently poked her forehead and couldn't help complaining to the system. What's going on? Why do I feel that her heartbeat has slowed down so much? Is she going to die? This was his first time to treat someone in this world, so it was inevitable that he had no experience. In addition, Yao Yangzu still had no reaction, so he was really a little worried. If something happened to her here, her brothers would definitely not be willing to continue to surf the internet here with him in the future. Where would he go to earn sales? Bai Luo didn't know that the reason she became like this was because the blood of the Daoist inadvertently entered her blood. Now her blood and energy are undergoing a great baptism. Under such a strong impact, she can't wake up, and her body subconsciously falls into a deep sleep. The system ignored him at first, but carefully observed Dao Hangzu's abnormal situation through Bai Luo's eyes. After waiting for more than an hour, Bai Luo really didn't have that patience anymore, so he stood up directly, took the shovel and walked out, looking around from behind. In addition to a rather modern internet cafe building that appeared inexplicably, the backyard is actually similar to the buildings in this world, with a large open space. Yao Yangchen and his team conducted field exercises here before. He found a Feng Shui treasure land, looked around at the big tree next to it, and said to the system, if she really can't wake up, I will bury her and put her in a good coffin later. If those few people ask about it later, I can only tell the truth. No, don't mess around. Seeing that he had already started digging, the system hurriedly stopped him. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus underscore. She is alive and well, but her breathing is slow. If you bury her now, and she crawls out of the coffin and touches your bed in the middle of the night, you will be scared to death. Don't talk nonsense. Bai Luo touched the goosebumps that suddenly appeared on his arm, and asked the system helplessly, then tell me what to do. After telling him what he had just observed, the system reminded him, wait one more night. If it doesn't work, go outside and find a doctor to treat her. I think she looks like a person with great luck, and she will definitely not die in a short time. How about this? Give her some water first. Aren't you afraid that she will die of thirst after not drinking water for so long? Bai Luo finally reacted, threw the shovel aside, and refilled some water to Yao Yangzu. But she didn't know how to swallow, so Bai Luo could only help her up and lean against the bed, pinching her mouth with one hand and tapping her throat with the other hand. While she was moving a little, he quickly fed her the water and then tried to make her swallow it. After trying several times, he finally finished feeding her a bowl of water and he breathed a sigh of relief. However, just when he put the bowl down, he was surprised to find that Yao Yangzu seemed to have grown a little bit. He couldn't help rubbing his eyes and asked the system, am I seeing it wrong? Has she grown taller? Host, you are not seeing it wrong. It is estimated that her previous encounter with Daoist caused some impact on her body. Now her body is maturing rapidly. You stay by the side and don't go too far. She is not safe now. After the system reminded him like this, Bai Luo didn't dare to run around. He quickly sat on the edge of the bed, holding Yao Yangzu's arm with one hand, trying to really feel what she would become in a while. Chapter 18, Striving for Performance. After more than half an hour, Yao Yangzu grew about 3 or 4 inches taller, and her body curves became more mature. Her long eyelashes fluttered a few times, and she suddenly opened her eyes. At this moment, Bai Luo was very close to her, and their lips were only less than an inch apart. Yao Yangzu blinked her eyes, thinking that she had met a pervert, and punched Bai Luo in the eye. Fortunately, he reacted in time, and dodged with a backflip. He patted his chest with lingering fear. You are murdering your savior. If I hadn't been there to take care of you, you would have died long ago. How can you prove that you are my savior? Why am I here? Pervert, you dare to bully me, I will kill you. Although Yao Yangzu has become a girl of 14 or 15 years old, she still has the mentality of a child. In addition, she is in the palace and has a strict upbringing. She thinks that any man who touches her is a blasphemy and insult, so when she found Bai Luo so close to her just now, her temper came up. I really can't explain it to you. Why don't you think about why you suddenly appeared here? Also, don't you feel that your appearance has changed a lot now? As he said that, Bai Luo waved his hand and directly placed a crystal mirror that was about the height of an adult and could reflect a person quite clearly in front of Aoyangzu and looked at her unhappily. Come and see for yourself. Did you look like this before you fainted? Aoyangzu was very confused, but she still walked to the front. As a result, when she saw herself in the mirror clearly, she was shocked. The skirt that originally fit her very well was now a little shorter, and her face had also changed significantly, from an ordinary little girl to a graceful young lady. The baby fat on her face also receded a lot, and the facial lines became clearer and more beautiful. She turned around in front of the mirror curiously, and looked at him in confusion. What's wrong with me? How should I know? You were chased by the Teoti in the woods, and hid behind me. Have you forgotten that I brought you back? After scolding her, Bai Luo asked the system, what's going on? I just gave her some water. Is the change so obvious? She shouldn't have water or wood skills, right? When he treated Aoyangzu before, he didn't find anything unusual about her. And can the effect of water be so great? There was nothing added to it. The system sighed in a mysterious way, but deliberately kept him in suspense, not telling him the truth, but just asked back, isn't it good that she has become like this? At least now that she is awake, you don't have to worry about her brothers coming to seek revenge on you. What do I have to worry about? I didn't do anything to her. Bai Luo's tone was a little bad, and he looked directly at Aoyangzu. What are you going to do? Now that you are awake, it is not suitable for you to stay here with me, right? So, I will find a way to send a message to your brothers and ask them to take you back. Why should I go back? It's good here. Aoyangzu found that she was awake now. Although her previous memory was a little vague, she probably remembered that this man did not harm her, and what happened just now might be just a misunderstanding. At this moment, she was in high spirits and actually walked out openly. She has always been playful. It was not easy for her to appear outside the palace. She is still safe now, so there is no need to worry. She should play outside for a few more days. Although she has grown a lot now, and her face has changed a lot, she is still a child. After coming out, she saw so many black boxes she had never seen before placed in this strange building, and she ran to one of the sofa chairs and sat down, patting it with satisfaction. Your chair is nice. How much did you buy it for? When I go back, buy me more. You are really rich. This thing is only available here. You can't buy it anywhere else. Aoyangzu fumbled with the computer and keyboard curiously. Bai Luo moved his hand and opened it for her. She was shocked to see that the black box in front of her had displayed many strange pictures in a short period of time. But she was born brave and was not afraid of this. She actually started to type slowly on the keyboard. It's not enough to just use that, you have to use this. Bai Luo, for some reason, actually sent the mouse to her side and taught her how to use it. The system's voice sounded again in his mind. Host, although those few have left, there is still one, right? Looking at her, her family must not be short of money. Do you want to take this opportunity to boost your sales? Can she do it alone? Bai Luo didn't trust Aoyangzu very much. This little girl had a bad temper and didn't have any servants around her. Could she spend money in his internet cafe? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. How do you play this thing? I've never seen it before. It's really interesting. Thinking of what the system had just said, Bai Luo deliberately touched his chin and then stood in front of Aoyangzu. This thing of mine is very powerful. To tell you the truth, your brothers have all played with it here before, and their strength has been greatly improved. Do you want to give it a try? But playing with it here is not free, you have to pay. Money? Gold and silver? I have plenty. Aoyangzu was about to reach into her storage bag, but she found that her things had been stolen when she was hiding in the woods and kidnapped. It was really a pity. After thinking about it, she said to Bai Luo, don't you know my brothers? Send a message to them and tell them that I'm playing with you. They will definitely pay for me. You can ask for as much as you want. And my father. The word came to his lips, but he turned around and said, my father and mother are very rich, and they will definitely not treat you unfairly. Bai Luo remembered that Yang Chen and the others were indeed very generous when they came here, and they also cared about Yang Zhu when they found her unconscious on his bed. Thinking that the relationship between the siblings would not be too bad, he agreed. However, he took out a piece of paper in advance and showed it to her. Then we have to write it clearly. You have to pay me if you play here for a while. You don't have money now, you can buy on credit, but when your brothers come, you can't pay a penny less. Don't worry, I know what to do. You teach me how to play first. Yang Zhu was in high spirits. Bai Luo thought about her age and tested her skills. Then he chose two relatively simple games for her, similar to Candy Crush. Yang Zhu was quickly attracted to the game, and she manipulated the mouse and keyboard, playing excitedly, and soon 2 hours passed. Chapter 19 The Most Unlucky Day. Bai Luo brought her free water and was about to ask her if she was hungry and remind her that there were all kinds of things at the counter, but he suddenly found that her face was a little red. He didn't know that he had accidentally stimulated Yang Zhu's blood in the game just now. In addition, the blood of Teoti appeared in her body by chance. At this moment, her whole body was full of extremely powerful blood energy, and her skin was several degrees hotter than that of ordinary people. However, Bai Luo, a straight man, didn't notice these at first, but just reminded her, "Are you hot from playing? I'll lower the air conditioner for you. Drink more water." I have never seen people who play games like you brothers and sisters, who forget to eat and sleep. This is really fun. I've never seen it before. Yang Zhu couldn't bear to take her eyes off the screen, and her hands were flexibly controlling it. But the blood energy gradually spread in the air and went deep into the forest. Teoti's sense of smell is not ordinary. The fierce beasts that have cultivated to this level are basically intelligent. They have always played only with their own kind or beasts with rare and powerful bloodlines, and they don't think much of humans. Therefore, they are very disgusted with the appearance of their bloodline among humans. Standing up from his cave, Teoti smelled the smell in the air and suddenly spoke human words. When he walked out of the cave, he found that several omnivorous fellows with thinner bloodlines than him had appeared beside the cave. They bowed their heads and said to him, "Boss, why do we feel your breath leaking out? Are you injured?" No, Teoti didn't explain much to them, just pointed to the cave. "You help me watch first. I have to see which human is challenging my existence at this time. Don't go too far, I will be back soon." Yes, the younger brothers agreed. Then, it dug its hoof into the ground and quickly ran towards the place where the smell of blood force was getting stronger and stronger. Teoti would never allow a mere human to have its beastly blood and planned to get rid of Yang Zhu completely. But because Bai Luo had been sitting in the internet cafe, although he didn't know how powerful he was, the aura around him and the blood in his body could not be faked. Teoti just appeared at the edge of the forest closest to the internet cafe and subconsciously stopped. Because Bai Luo was there, the entire internet cafe was wrapped in a very wonderful and mysterious barrier. As soon as Teoti came, he felt the pressure of a very powerful strong man and couldn't help but feel a little daunted. It was very familiar with this aura, exactly the same as the man it met in the forest before. Teoti instinctively felt that this person must be easy to mess with, but it also wanted to get rid of that damn human girl. After thinking about it, Teoti could only choose not to appear around the man in his true form for the sake of dignity. It thought about it, hid behind a big tree, and after silently reciting a few spells, it suddenly changed its body, intending to change into an ordinary person and approach Bai Luo. However, because Bai Luo's aura was too obvious, this fierce beast with strong resentment and anger could not get close to him at all. Once it came into contact with his aura, Teoti's transformation completely failed. Teoti originally thought that he would become a normal human man, but after the spell, a black light flashed, and it turned into a puppy that was less than the length of an adult's arm. It tried to bark twice, but found that the sound it made was really similar to that of a dog. Teoti was almost mad to death and wanted to change again, but found that in the place where Bai Luo's aura could cover, it could not even perform the transformation technique smoothly, and it was really angry. But it had already run here, and there was no reason to give up halfway. After hesitating for a while, it could only grit its teeth and run forward. It must not appear in its true form. If it was discovered by humans, would it still have shame? After all, it is an ancient beast. If other humans or beasts find out that it has appeared in its true form to deal with a human girl, how embarrassing would that be? Forget it, just turn into a dog. At least no one will see its true form. As a result, the closer it got to the internet cafe, the more obvious the aura on Bai Luo's body became. Teoti could even feel that his internal organs were being crushed by a very strange pressure, and even his breathing became a little unsmooth. The system detected the invasion of alien species and was about to remind Bai Luo, but he walked out of the internet cafe to see if the power supply was sufficient today. As a result, because it was too close to him suddenly, Teoti could not bear the very strong pressure on him and was actually stunned by the invisible barrier around him. Teoti rolled his eyes and was still thinking in the last second before he fainted. It has never experienced such a bad day in its life. It's really a ghost. Hey, why is there a puppy here? Bai Luo was still a little confused. He went to check the store and then came over and gently touched Teoti's head. The puppy it transformed into had pure black fur, like a small coal ball, but the fur was quite smooth. But it fainted at this moment. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR''S first novel. Bai Luo checked its breath and found that it was still alive. After thinking about it, he took it in. The system was a little surprised. Host, why did you bring a dog in? What else can I do? Of course I raise it. There is no other HUOW in the internet cafe except me. How boring it is. As I said that, I stroked Teoti's back. I have to say that it feels good. It is also interesting to raise a puppy, and it is inexplicable. Fainted outside the internet cafe. I don't know if it is hungry. I have never raised a pet before, so I'm quite interested. After entering the internet cafe, Bai Luo rummaged through the boxes and cabinets, and finally took out a box of instant noodles, which he used as a nest for the puppy for the time being, and he also laid some soft clothes in it. Teoti was just stunned by his barrier, and there was actually no big problem. Bai Luo carefully checked it, and found that there was nothing wrong with it. He thought it was just fainted from hunger, so he put some food next to the box and ran to instruct Zhu on the subsequent attack strategy. The emperors of the other 3 countries suddenly lost a large number of giant and stage masters, and they were very angry. They immediately asked people to investigate the matter as quickly as possible. However, the news brought back by the spies they secretly planted in the Aoyang dynasty shocked them. The 3 were discussing matters together in the palace of the Kanglang kingdom. Leng Yu heard the reply from his subordinates, and he slapped the dragon chair and stood up. How is this possible? I clearly remember that Aoyang Chen was only in the foundation building stage a month ago. How could he jump 3 realms at once and reach the giant stage? This is absolutely impossible. Chapter 20. A feud. Leng Yu was not only shocked, but also quite angry. For ordinary people, even if they took drugs every day and used countless natural treasures to assist in cultivation, it would take 10 to 20 years to go from foundation building to golden elixir. How could he have such obvious changes in just 1 month? Was he hiding his incompetence before? Si Zingshan also stepped forward, his face very unhappy. The reason why they dared to attack the Aoyang dynasty was because they felt that Aoyang Chen, the crown prince, had too low a cultivation level. Moreover, the old man Aoyang Fuming had more than a dozen sons. Once he found that this crown prince was useless or something happened, he could choose to make other princes the crown prince. By that time, his sons, whether adults or minors, would fight for the position of crown prince. When there was an internal conflict in the country, wouldn't they be able to take advantage of it? But they didn't expect that the leader who led the others to deal with the more than a dozen golden elixir masters they had arranged was actually Aoyang Chen. How could they believe it? Your Majesty, this is true. The one who got the information was the guard you had placed in the palace of the Aoyang dynasty 5 years ago, and he is now the captain of their team. According to him, he witnessed the melee that day with his own eyes. Aoyang Chen's strength has greatly increased, and now he has reached the 5th level of the Golden Core. This man must be eliminated as soon as possible. Liu Yui heard this and walked forward with a stern face. He is so young and has such a powerful cultivation. The old man must be very precious to him. If we can't solve it in time, one day when he grows up completely, we will have no chance to deal with him. Leng Yu also gritted his teeth. That's right, but according to the reply from the spy I arranged, it was the princes led by Yang Chen and several other masters who solved so many of our masters. It can be imagined that the cultivation of those princes is not low. I think our top priority is not to tear our faces with him. I agree with Leng Yu's opinion. Xizhingshan nodded. We can try to negotiate first and set traps. If the negotiations fail, we can't take action again. We can't arouse their vigilance. What are the 4 countries talking about? It is very important. They will definitely choose a place that is relatively safe for all 4 countries. At the same time, they have to test Yang Chen's true cultivation. Then let someone arrange it out, and we will make good arrangements for the future. Liao Yui had no choice but to agree. After all, he suddenly lost too many masters this time, and he was very sad. If they can't find out the background of the Yang dynasty in time this time, their lives will not be easy in the future. However, within the Yang dynasty, it is now a gloomy cloud. Yang fuming barely coped with the attacks of so many masters at that time, and he was seriously injured in many places. The reason why he could still hold on and talk to them when Yang Chen and his friends came back was because he was stimulated by their sudden strong fighting strength and was very excited. As a result, he found that those masters were solved. Once he relaxed his spirit, he became sick like a mountain. He lay in bed for 2 days and couldn't wake up. Yang Chen was very anxious. He called the head of the Imperial Hospital and looked at him seriously. Master Zhang, tell me the truth. How is my father's health now? He was fine before. Please forgive me, Your Highness. Dr. Zhang kowtowed in front of him and said in a low voice. The emperor had hidden injuries in his body when he was practicing. This time he was attacked by so many masters, and all the hidden injuries in his body were triggered. Now the situation is very dangerous. Tell me how to solve it. The other princes were also very anxious. The eldest brother is very powerful, and saving my father this time is a great achievement. My father has not yet said who will inherit the position of the emperor. After he passes away, they may still have a chance. But if the eldest brother inherits the throne after my father passes away, what should they do? Maybe they can't even get the position of prince. Please forgive me, Your Highnesses. I'm not a good doctor and cannot cure the emperor. Yang fuming was barely breathing and his face was incredibly pale. It was obvious that his heart meridian was greatly affected. Even his danshan showed signs of being broken. There was no need to repeat how important the danshan was to those who practiced. Seeing the concubines in tears, but unable to come up with a specific solution, Yang Chen had a headache. It was his youngest brother who remembered their great progress during the trial with Bai Luo. After thinking about it, he mustered up the courage to come forward and make a suggestion. Big brother, do you want to send father to the senior? The senior is so powerful, and we have made such great progress in just a few days of practice there. Maybe he has a way to treat father. Yes, big brother. The other princes came back to their senses and rushed to make suggestions. Isn't Zua still there? We can also send father over there so that he can be taken care of. The imperial doctors, why don't we arrange a few of them to go over there too? Maybe the seniors have a solution. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Yang Chen had just thought about it, but he was a little worried because the seniors had never mentioned to them that they knew medical skills. After thinking for a moment, he asked Dr. Zhang again, if I give you enough time, can you guarantee that you can cure father? Your Highness, I'm really sorry, old Chen can't. Dr. Zhang promised with a long sigh. But the country cannot be without a monarch for a day. Even if he is the prince now and can temporarily exercise power on behalf of the emperor, he can't just watch his father get sicker and sicker day by day. After thinking about it, Yang Chen waved his hands to his left and right. Come here, prepare the cloud shuttle immediately and send father to the senior. Bring 7 or 8 imperial doctors with you. After thinking for a while, he waved to the 5th prince next to him. 5th brother, you went to the senior for trial before, and your cultivation skills have also improved a lot. This time, I would like to trouble you to take father to see it. How about it? When father wakes up, I will personally give him advice. This is your credit. Yes, don't worry, big brother. The fifth prince's mother was watching from the side, and he naturally did not dare to disobey, and quickly ordered several princes with more stable personalities to go with him. They took the imperial doctors and several guards to send our Yang fuming to the cloud shuttle, and then rushed to the internet cafe. Seeing that the person had left, Bao Yang Chen's trusted secret guard walked up to him and whispered, "Your Highness, what are you going to do next?" "Of course, I will go to the three kingdoms to ask for punishment." Bao Yang Chen gritted his teeth angrily. Don't think that the three kingdoms are like quails now, without any movement. He doesn't know what happened to his father. If the three countries had not suddenly joined forces, how could so many giant and stage masters suddenly emerge? Chapter 21 Holding 3 people hostage. If something happens to the father this time, they will be the executioners. Thinking of this, he passed down a series of instructions. There are still several princes in the palace, and he has specially given the important task of supervising the country to 3 regents. These 3 people have been loyal to the father for many years, and they have considerable power. Letting them take charge together can also allow them to supervise each other, and not let them cause any trouble when they are not in the country. The subordinates also knew that he was angry at the moment, and hurriedly agreed. Bao Yang Chen took out his top ancient treasure King Iron Fan, and jumped on it directly. This King Iron Fan is somewhat different from ordinary flying magic weapons, and it does not require any spiritual energy to operate it. It only needs to be inlaid with spiritual stones. A piece of high quality spiritual stone is enough to support a distance of thousands of miles, which is almost enough to reach the Kanglang Kingdom. As for the subordinates behind him, they all used various flying magic weapons of high levels, and they were not far behind him. However, he had just walked halfway when he suddenly found that there seemed to be a strange team in front of him, so he quickly asked someone to go forward to inquire. As a result, the other party suddenly sped up and stopped in front of him with a somewhat arrogant attitude. "Are you His Highness Ao Yang? Who are you?" Ao Yang Chen stood high on the King Iron Fan and looked at him expressionlessly. "I'm the Lord of Kanglang country who specially arranged for me to come here to negotiate with His Highness Ao Yang. Since I met you here, why not make things clear here?" No time for that. When Ao Yang Chen heard that it was related to the other 3 countries, his face became a little uglier than before. "There is no need to negotiate. I have something important to discuss with them. Get out of the way." The visitor did not expect his attitude to be so bad, and his face turned cold. "Your Highness, are you not going to give us face? Who are you? Why should I give you face?" As he said, Bao Yang Chen waved his hand and shot out a silver white light. The man was forced to retreat quickly, but the power of the ice element that Ao Yang Chen had just exerted was too huge, mixed with the water vapor in the air, and actually froze them into an ice sculpture in 2 breaths. He looked around and threw them to a relatively flat place and reminded them coldly, "This ice barrier will be completely dispersed in about half an hour. Don't block my way." After that, he led his subordinates behind him to speed up and rush towards Kanglang country. When the 3 kingdoms had contact with them before, because the ruler of Kanglang country, Leng Yu, was a woman. When the 3 kingdoms had conflicts with them before, almost all the things were done in Kanglang country, and this time was no exception. Therefore, Bao Yang Chen led his subordinates to kill them angrily. After Leng Yu arranged for people to go out, he found that 2/4 of an hour had passed, and there was no update on their route map. He looked at Si Zingshan beside him with some surprise. "Will there be another accident on the road? I heard that Ao Yang Fuming was seriously injured, and now the palace is in chaos. Can you arrange people to come and make trouble for us at this time?" "That's hard to say, Liu. I couldn't even drink tea now," and asked someone to send him the newly picked ice spirit fruit. This fruit is not very useful, but it can improve some spiritual power for people with ice element. Of course, it doesn't matter if you don't practice ice element. This fruit is cold to the touch, and eating one can make people refreshed. There have been too many things happening recently, and they need to be vigilant at all times. Both of them took a fruit and discussed while eating. "Why can't I sense where they went? What happened?" So many giant and masters were killed before, which made them very worried. fearing that they would encounter unknown forces from some side to attack them from behind. It shouldn't be a big deal. Maybe they encountered a fog array or strange weather on the way forward, which delayed them temporarily. Wait a little longer, don't worry too much. Xingqian comforted. But after they finished eating the fruits, they didn't have time to arrange the army, to set up traps first, and suddenly felt a very strong pressure coming directly from the top of the palace where they were. Come here. Leng Yu roared, and arranged the soldiers on both sides to come to protect the emperor. But those soldiers wearing iron grey armor and wolf head military caps were no match for our Yang Chen. He and his subordinates were like the Grim Reaper who harvested lives. They clenched their swords tightly and slid across the throats of the Kanglang soldiers, knocking them to the ground. Even though they were not in danger of death, they were all groaning and shouting in pain. What are you doing here? Leng Yu was extremely shocked. The protective barrier didn't stop you? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. How could it stop me? Gao Yang Chen arrogantly showed off a cone-shaped hammer in his hand. This is called the Sky-Breaking Cone. It is a magic weapon given to me by my father many years ago. The immortal level formation can't withstand my hammers. Do you think the barrier of the Kanglang country can stop me? After he said that, he directly transformed into a chair and sat in front of several people arrogantly. What do you want to do? Leng Yu's fingers moved slightly, and using the secret technique of the Kanglang kingdom, he began to summon the masters of the giant stage to rush in this direction. Gao Yang Chen was fearless, and he must have bad intentions when he brought people here, so they had to be careful. Don't waste your energy. I came to you today to seek justice. My father was harmed by you like this. Do you want to write off this matter like this? As he said, he swung the sledgehammer and smashed a huge pit on the ground. Then he clenched his 5 fingers into claws and grabbed them. These 3 people have been able to stay in the position of the emperor for so long, so they naturally have a considerable level of strength, but they are far inferior to our Yang Chen. He has a strong bloodline, and he has been tested for a long time in the battle process of the game. Now his martial arts have made very obvious progress. His whole figure is incredibly fast, just like a ghost. He grabbed them and threw them into a deep pit that he had just smashed with the Sky-Breaking Cone. He casually set up a blue barrier and covered them in it. What do you want to do? Leng Yu shouted angrily, let us out. After arriving in this space, she was horrified to find that she could only exert less than 20% of her strength. What should she do? She anxiously exchanged glances with Liao Yui and the others, but found that they were the same as her. She didn't know where our Yang Chen got such a weird thing. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Her Great Change. My father has been harmed by you to this state. The interest and the account are due. It's time for us to settle the accounts properly, right? I'm not in a hurry. I can have a good chat with you. Gao Yang Chen took the 3 of them hostage without any hesitation and locked them up with a very strong 1000-year-old vine. Then, a special lion ring was put around their necks to limit their energy. When had the 3 of them ever suffered such humiliation? However, Gao Yang Chen's methods were too tough and overbearing. Now they couldn't break free. They stared at him fiercely. Gao Yang Chen was unmoved. After imprisoning them, he immediately sent a signal to the princes and the accompanying masters and doctors, asking them to take care of the father first. Then, he began to search carefully here. After all, he came here. Wouldn't it be a pity if he didn't take more treasures back? The speed of the cloud shuttle was very fast. Knowing that our Yang Chen had succeeded, everyone didn't care anymore. They increased the speed to the extreme along the way. It took 3 or 4 hours to reach the internet cafe. Looking at the familiar building, the 5th prince was the first to jump off the cloud-piercing shuttle and rushed to the entrance of the internet cafe excitedly. At this moment, Bai Luo was dragging a piece of firewood that was 7 or 8 times larger than his body towards the main entrance of the internet cafe. Seeing the 5th prince's excited face, he looked at him curiously. What's wrong? Are you going to come to my place for another trial? Where's your eldest brother? Didn't he come with you? My eldest brother has something to do today, senior. We have something important to ask you for help. The cloud-piercing shuttle is much larger than an ordinary flying shuttle, and the layout is more luxurious. The appearance is silver white, and it seems to be painted with a very special paint. Bai Luo put down the firewood, walked around the cloud-piercing shuttle for a few steps, and asked him, "What's the matter?" Several Imperial doctors carried out Aang fuming, who was specially placed in a special glass coffin, and then placed it in front of him, and bowed their heads respectfully in front of him. The glass coffin was made of 10,000-year crystal. Aang fuming had already died when he was sent here. The doctors were worried that something might happen to him, and the leak of the Emperor's aura would attract other powerful monsters to snatch him, so they had to place him in a glass coffin. First, to ensure that his body would not decay, and second, to protect him from monsters to a certain extent. Seeing those old men with white hair and beards being so respectful to him, Bai Luo was really surprised and stepped back. "Ladies and gentlemen, please don't be like this. I'm young and can't bear such a gift from you. What are you doing?" "Senior, my father was seriously injured before." The fifth prince took a deep breath and could only carry Aang Chen out with a worried look on his face. "Senior, the doctors I hired have tried their best, but they all said that my father's injury is too serious, endangering his heart and Danshan, and they really can't treat him. We can only come to you to try our luck. Senior, you should be able to save my father, right?" In front of outsiders, he didn't dare to reveal his identity directly. The doctors probably knew that the young senior in front of them didn't know their true identities, and they all came forward to ask, "Young master, please trouble you. My master is in charge of many people. If something happens, the consequences will be disastrous. But I really know only a little about medical skills, and it was a coincidence that I helped your sister before. I learned it temporarily by reading medical books. I have never studied medicine before. I don't understand these, and I don't know how to treat diseases." Bai Luo was particularly embarrassed. It was a good thing that others trusted him, but he had never learned this before, so he didn't dare to do anything carelessly. Moreover, this middle-aged man had a dignified face, and the ordinary middle clothes he wore were actually made of flowing brocade. This is a treasure worth 1,000,000 gold coins. It is conceivable that the family background is definitely quite rich. Judging from his appearance, even if he is not the ruler of a country, he is at least a marquis. He can't easily ruin his reputation. Even the senior can't do it. What should we do? The fifth prince was panicked, and the other princes looked at each other. Could it be that sending the father all the way here is useless? Aang heard the noise outside and ran out quickly. As a result, she found that Aang fuming had become like this, and her eyes turned red. She is Aang fuming's youngest daughter, and her cultivation is very low. It has almost nothing to do with her to inherit the treasure in the future. Aang fuming still dotes on her. When she found that her father, who had always been very good to her, had become like this, she cried almost out of breath and begged Bai Luo bitterly, "Senior, aren't you very powerful? I've never seen those black boxes inside, and they've helped me a lot. You can definitely find a way to save my father. Come and see." "Who are you calling father?" "This girl. Get out of the way." The seventh prince didn't recognize Aang and hurriedly pulled her hand. "Who are you?" Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR''S first novel. Seventh brother, don't you recognize me? I'm Xiaoxu. Aang wiped a tear. I found that many of my brothers couldn't recognize me, so I had no choice but to tell them their secrets. Seventh brother, do you remember the first time you helped me pick loquats from the tree? When you were a child, you accidentally fell down and left a scar on your lower back. The doctors have never cured you, and only my brothers and I know about this. How did you know? The seventh prince covered his waist. He had never told outsiders about his own face problem before. Fifth brother, and you? When you were a child, you also did a lot of embarrassing things. After she told the princes one by one about the various things she had done together, everyone finally believed that the girl in front of them, who was almost grown up, was actually Aang, who was only 13 years old, and finally reluctantly believed her. Everyone looked surprised, but Xiaoxu, why did you suddenly become like this? What happened? This is a long story. Anyway, I really can't treat illnesses. You found the wrong person. Bai Luo shook his head. Why don't you look around to see if there are other doctors with good medical skills? I really don't dare to try. However, because Teoti's blood suddenly entered her body, Yao Yangzu unexpectedly awakened a powerful healing ability. She didn't know what was going on with her, so she followed her heart and walked in front of Ao Yang fuming, her fingers moving slightly. The fifth prince was about to step forward to stop her, but the imperial physician tremblingly pulled his arm and shook his head. Miss, have you ever learned a healing method from the elder? I haven't seen this method for many years. Chapter 23 Signing of Agreement. Xiaoxu can heal. How is that possible? She hasn't learned it before. The fifth prince was very surprised, but Ao Yangzu just displayed her healing ability in front of all of them in such a strange way. After a quarter of an hour, Ao Yangzu's face turned pale, and it was obvious that her ability was overconsumed. Bai Luo quickly gave her a batch of freshly brewed milk tea to restore her energy, and patted her shoulder gently. Are you okay? After a few sips of milk tea, she instantly felt that her energy had recovered a lot, and nodded. At this moment, Ao Yang fuming, who was lying in the special glass coffin, suddenly opened his eyes. Several princes were overjoyed and surrounded him. Father, are you awake? How do you feel now? What's wrong with me? Ao Yang fuming rubbed his eyelids. Father, we brought you to the senior. Xiaoxu is here too. I don't know why, but Xiaoxu has grown up a lot. She has learned a lot from the senior and even cured you. The senior is really amazing. The fifth prince instinctively thought that it was Bai Luo's credit that his father was able to wake up. After all, Xiaoxu was still a 13-year-old girl a few days ago, but in the blink of an eye, she turned into this, and she also had such a powerful healing method from the spirit race. Thinking that they had made very obvious progress here before, all this must be the credit of the senior, and he praised him heavily. This matter has nothing to do with me. Bai Luo looked puzzled. However, the system reminded him, host, this is still somewhat related to you. If it weren't for your help, the little girl would have been bitten to death by the Teoti long ago. How could she awaken the healing ability in her body? Host, you take care of this matter. Please invite them in to sit down first. It's not a good idea to stand here. I have opened up a place for you in the back. Okay, everyone, please come in. Bai Luo took a deep breath and tried to look very calm. The system is very fast, and it is believed that more and more people will come here in the future, so don't we have to prepare some restrooms in advance? In the future, when there are more people, it is inevitable that there will be people like Ao Yangchen who stay here for several days in a row. It is not a big deal to play games and train day and night without sleep. When they are particularly tired, they can go to the back to rest. Ao Yang fuming is still immersed in a very mysterious feeling. He followed him in, and Bai Luo was also confused. Ao Yangchen did not act on impulse when he arrived at the palace of Kanglang Kingdom. He knew that his father was already dead when he sent him there. It was still unknown whether the senior could cure my father, but since he had come to Kanglang country, he had to find a way to take away everything that was useful to them and sign a contract that would be of great help to them. Otherwise his trip would be in vain. Therefore, after immobilizing the three people, he starved them for 2 hours and lit a special incense. It was not until the hands and feet of the three people were sore and their tempers had calmed down that he split the old vine into 3 parts and continued to immobilize them, but he could let people feed them something. Seeing that the faces of the 3 people had improved, he said, my father was killed, and this was the work of your 3 countries. This time I came here to seek justice. I know, we did something wrong. Xingchen had the most flexible mind and was the most willing to take risks, so he quickly apologized to him. The 3 of us are not as skilled as you, and it's our bad luck to be caught by you. Prince, just tell us what you need. We will do whatever we can. It's very simple. I didn't intend to hurt you. It's just that there are many things in your 3 countries that I need. When negotiating with the 3 people, his kingly majesty was revealed at a glance, and the subordinates beside him were very serious. Now their strength has not recovered yet, and they don't know what kind of aphrodisiac Ao Yangchen used on them. So far, their bodies are still very soft, and they can't use any strength. They are worried that, if they fail to negotiate with him later, he will get rid of them completely if he is unhappy, and then everything will be over. The attitudes of the three people have changed a lot. Prince, let's draw up the contract first. We will give you anything you need. In order to protect themselves, the three thought about it and proposed compensation. However, Bao Yangchen didn't want to reveal the secrets about his predecessors. He was worried that, if they had more and more exchanges with their three countries in the future, they would find that the cultivation speed of him, his brothers and those masters was beyond the imagination of normal people. So he said directly, I don't intend to kill you all, but after I'll let you go, you must retreat to the Yellow River. From now on, you are absolutely not allowed to invade our dynasty again. If I find out again, I will find a way to kill you next time. But we promised so many things, why doesn't the prince want it? Leng Yu is good at bewitching and charming, and she observes Yang Chen more carefully. She locks his eyes on him, trying to see through his inner thoughts. She instinctively feels that Yang Chen seems to be hiding something. Otherwise, they have proposed so many compensation plans, why didn't he agree? She just urged them to sign the agreement quickly and withdraw their troops immediately. Leng Yu saw that Yang Chen seemed to be hiding something, but her bewitching technique did not work on Yang Chen, so she could only ask directly. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar first published this novel. Now you better be polite in front of me. Yang Chen directly wrote down the agreement and slapped it in front of the three people. Look carefully. If you want to live, sign immediately. Otherwise. Before he finished speaking, Liu Yui interrupted him. Prince, give us some time. The three of us need to discuss it. After all, it is such an important matter. Let's discuss it. I'll watch you here. Bao Yangchen walked back to the chair and sat down. The three of them discussed quietly using the secret techniques unique to the countries, striving to maximize their benefits. After placing them in the back room, seeing that everyone seemed to be quite disgusted with these very simple 8-person dormitories, Bai Luo couldn't help but remind them, my territory here is so small. Although there are many open spaces in the backyard, I don't have time to cultivate it by myself. Of course, if you dislike it, just don't live there. I'm a rough man. Of course I don't mind these. Senior, you are joking. Even Yang fuming, was quite polite to him. It's good to have a place to rest. I will remember your life-saving grace in my heart. If you have any needs in the future, I will definitely do my best. Bai Luo smiled and shook his head. He didn't know how Yang Zhu learned medical skills. Forget it. What they think is their business. He is too lazy to care. Chapter 24 Bloodline Suppression. Yang Zhu likes the puppy that Teoti has transformed into, but Teoti is afraid of Bai Luo's breath. Even though Yang Zhu is right in front of him, he dare not attack easily. He just hides from her with a wronged look. He is worried that he will be unable to resist and bite her to death in front of Bai Luo. If Bai Luo attacks him, he will be afraid that he will not be able to deal with it. Why are you running? I'm not bullying you. Come here quickly. Yang Zhu grew up in the palace and also raised pets. She likes all kinds of little guys. When he saw that there was only one living thing in the internet cafe besides people, he was naturally very interested. Teoti regretted it in his heart. If he had known this earlier, he would not have come here on his own initiative. As a result, he was entangled by this troublesome woman. Although his body was flexible after the transformation, the barrier was unbreakable where Bai Luo was, and he could not find a chance to deal with Yang Zhu. On the contrary, after possessing a part of Teoti's blood, her blood now has a second chance to awaken. In addition, she has been playing games with Bai Luo for the past few days, and she can't help but be stained with a little bit of his breath. Teoti is actually a little afraid of her. Teoti can't restore its original form now, and even many of its skills can't be used. Yang Zhu chased after it panting, but finally caught Teoti at the edge of the barrier and stroked its fur with an unhappy face. Zhao, why are you so afraid of me? Look at you. There is so much dirt on your body. You need to wash it well. Come on, I'll take you back. Otherwise the brothers will dislike you later. Teoti's fur is black and shiny, but it was inevitably stained with a lot of dust in the process of chasing Iangzu just now, and now it looks dirty. Iangzu disliked it very much, and quickly took it to the bathroom of the internet cafe. Although Bai Luo was the only one living here, the system still specially prepared a bathtub for him. Iangzu didn't know how to use this thing. After thinking about it, she could only take a large wooden basin from the side and directly press Teoti into it, still muttering in a low voice. Stay well and don't run around, otherwise I will hurt you with my heavy hand later. Don't blame me. She looked around carefully and found that she didn't recognize the things around her. She could only close the bathroom door and walk out to greet Bai Luo. Senior, what do you use to bathe the puppy here? I see that Zio Heli is covered in dust, and I want to wash it. I don't have anything special for dog grooming here. When Bai Luo was about to ask whether to let it use its usual shower gel to deal with it first, the system reminded him. Host, the origin of this puppy may not be that simple. It is better to use animal cleaning agent on it. I have already replenished it on the shelf. You can take it. There is also softener. All matching ones are available. Got it. He hurried to the side of the shelf and found a large bag of things in the corner. The words on it were all from this world. Iangzu should know them, so he hurriedly gave them to her. Use the blue bottle to wash its fur, and the green one to smooth it. After washing, use a comb to comb it again. By the way, there is a hairdryer next to it. I will teach you how to use it. After speaking, he took the black thing to the side of the socket, plugged it in, and turned on the switch. Iangzu was surprised to find that soon a warm wind blew out from it. She looked at him in shock. Senior, what kind of magic weapon is this? I've never seen it before. Is it made of wind element? No, it's just powered by a little electricity. I can't explain it to you in a short time, but it's very useful anyway. After you give Zio Heli a bath, blow it dry, and take it out. Got it. Iangzu pressed Teoti into the wooden basin with great interest, moved a small stool to sit next to it, humming a song while bathing it. These princes had a rare opportunity to come again and continue to play games. Everyone hopes that their strength can continue to improve, just like the eldest brother. Who would have thought that half a month ago, the eldest brother was just an ordinary prince with foundation building cultivation. As a result, just because he had 2 trials here, he has become a very powerful master of the 5th level of Jinden. How long has it been? Even if he practices in the piercing cloud shuttle, there is no such a powerful effect. Everyone knows that there must be a lot of treasures here. Since you are here, you must play to your heart's content, right? Thinking of this, he immediately applied to Bai Luo, wanting to continue playing the game. He wished that more people would come, so that he could complete the turnover as soon as possible and go to the next place. He immediately and enthusiastically turned on the computer for them. The princes were also very sensible and immediately brought the spirit stones to pay for their online trial here. However, their progress before was quite obvious. Now that they started to tackle the game again, they were stopped by the next level not long after. They were different from Yang. The blood in his body was very special. When playing games, he was almost unimpeded along the way. As long as he had enough energy as support, the levels ahead were very simple for him. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. However, these princes could not pass it. They were tired and panting, looking at Bai Luo with pale faces. Senior, why is our trial so unsuccessful this time? Is it because we improved our strength too quickly before and now we have encountered a bottleneck? Not necessarily. Let me show you. Bai Luo first gave them some instant noodles, potato chips, snacks, etc. so that they could increase their yuanli first, and then sat next to them. After getting Yang Fuming's consent, he took the initiative to check them. The system has been secretly watching the movements of these princes. After some inspection, it was discovered that everyone's age and talent are different, so there will be very obvious differences when doing game trials. Just like Yang, he is naturally smart and has a developed bloodline. He is not afraid of some very bloody games at all. Instead, he can learn more combat skills from very powerful fighting processes. However, his younger brothers are obviously not as good as him. No wonder they were stopped by the level. Gao Yang fuming found his analysis a little strange, and he had never seen this kind of black box before, and he didn't know what was wrong with his sons. They sat in front like crazy, and no one wanted to leave. After thinking about it, he realized that his sons had made such great progress after the trials here, so he took the initiative to apply. Senior, can I play for a while? Of course, no need to be so polite, I should be younger than you, just call me Bai Luo. Chapter 25 The Crux. Gao Yang fuming also followed suit and agreed. Later, Bai Luo turned on a computer for him. The princes gathered around Gao Yang fuming to watch the game, but found that he couldn't even play the most common Minesweeper game recommended by Bai Luo. Bai Luo was clearly directing them, and they all knew where to jump next, but Gao Yang fuming was in a panic. The keyboard and mouse were too unfamiliar to him. He always couldn't find the right direction. The time given to him at each level was very short. After a few dozen seconds, he couldn't pass it, and had to start over. Half an hour passed in the blink of an eye, and he didn't even pass a level. The fifth prince sighed. Father, you haven't played this before. Do you want to take a break first? Please choose a simpler game for you first. I don't have any other simpler games here. Bai Luo shook his head. Although the internet cafe uses firewood to maintain electricity, its initial form is very old, but the games loaded on the computer are considered to be the more popular categories on the market before he came. Those particularly old games are basically no longer available. Unexpectedly, this middle-aged man couldn't play. After checking him, Bai Luo said unexpectedly, is it because you are a little older and you are not very used to this kind of trial method that young people like? Then what should I do? I found that my eldest son has made obvious progress. This thing is so unfriendly to me. Gao Yang fuming was a little helpless. He was a person who had experienced life and death, so he naturally knew how important strength was. Seeing that Yang Chen had made so much progress recently, he also wanted to try whether this thing was good for him, but he didn't expect that he knew nothing about it. Even his youngest son played better than him. This was really embarrassing. Father, you should take a rest first. You are a little better now. Don't be too tired. The fifth prince took the initiative to persuade him, and the other princes followed. However, after Bai Luo analyzed the reasons for them, he gave him some advice. Perhaps you are special. The younger the children are, the more experience they can accumulate during the training process. If you believe me, you can find a few younger children to try it out. Don't worry, the price is negotiable. You are too polite, senior. Gao Yang fuming saw that he could not use this unique training method now, so he became more polite to him and called him senior again. He is already at this age. If his strength cannot be improved, he will not live long, so he can only rely on the seniors to see if they can send more potential juniors here, so that they can be further improved here. Although Bai Luo was helpless, he could not say anything, and could only agree. Gao Yang fuming thought for a moment, and took the initiative to say, senior, you still have so many machines here. I wonder if you can cooperate with us? Don't worry, we will pay the corresponding money on time, and according to the amount, as long as you can give us more time for the children to come here for training. I'm old, and there may be no way to improve my strength, but the children still have a lot of room for development. Senior, what do you think? Of course, no problem. Bai Luo was worrying about the problem of turnover. He couldn't find a way to improve his performance. Now that he found that the other party was willing to recommend customers to him, there was no reason to disagree. When he was about to recommend them a few most attractive games, so that they would stay here for a while longer, and try to collect enough turnover for him as soon as possible, the system suddenly reminded him, host, you can't charge everyone the same fee as usual. You must charge different fees according to different levels of customers, otherwise you are destroying the market rules. Is there such a saying? When he talked to the system, he was talking in his brain. The people around him would only feel that his movements paused slightly, but he had already exchanged a few words with the system. But there was no other way. The internet cafe, including the method of increasing sales in the future, had been decided in advance. He couldn't just break the rules like that. He could only agree and greet Yang fuming, and the others with a smile. Sit over here, let's talk about cooperation. Don't worry, I got along well with your sons before, I won't ask for too much. Bai Luo felt that the man in front of him was the powerful type at first glance, and with so many sons, maybe his family's relatives and connections would be wider. If he could gain his trust and arrange dozens or hundreds of people to come every day, he would definitely be able to achieve the sales target in a short time, right? By then, people would come every day, and his customers would be very fixed. Especially after discovering that they made faster progress in the trial in the game, and it would hardly affect their bodies. They would definitely attract more and more people. By then, he wouldn't have to worry about sales. Thinking of this, he was very happy and immediately had a serious discussion with Aoyang, fuming about the cooperation in the future. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. Aoyang Zhu pressed Teoti into the big wooden basin, squeezed a ball of milky white pet shower gel in her hand, and rubbed it on its body. Soon, a layer of white foam appeared on Teoti's body. It was the first time that Aoyang Zhu saw this kind of thing, and she thought it was very interesting. She rubbed a layer of it all over Teoti's body, and massaged it with strength. Teoti found that it was quiet outside, and it seemed that no one was watching them. He lowered his head slightly and was about to find an opportunity to take action directly to deal with Aoyang Zhu, but found that his limbs were sore and weak, and even Aoyang Zhu's hands could not break free. What's going on? Teoti was shocked and silently recited the formula in his heart. He originally planned to restore his original form, but he found that he could not get rid of this form now. He kept the appearance of a dog, and even his strength was greatly restricted. Teoti was about to go crazy. He didn't expect that he, a dignified ancient beast, would one day fall to this point. He began to toss hard. Aoyang Zhu was soaked by it and couldn't help but grab its two hind legs. What are you doing? I'm giving you a bath. Be quiet, okay? If you move again, I'll tie you up with a rope. Be obedient. But Teoti didn't listen to her, and its movements became bigger and bigger. Aoyang Zhu got angry all of a sudden. She also had pets in the palace, but those pets had special servants and maids to help take care of them every day, and she only needed to hold the pets and play with them every day. As a result, she gave Zhao a bath with good intentions today, but it was not happy. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.